My friend said that I am a bad friend. She's the one who won't apologize.
He's a freaking bad friend.
It's like me. So, to start this off is like to say I'm changing names, ages, and some timestamps so she can't find this. My friend Anna and I have known each other for a few years. When we first met, it was via a fellow friend, and we got pretty close pretty fast. At the time, and for most of this time, she has been my only good friend. By the way, this comes from Second Decent 73 2020 on the r/showcase Storytime subreddit. So I had other friends, but none I had talked to or met as often as Anna. It was great, and we had a lot of good times, and still do when we're together. However, she's been single and figuring out her spicy sleepuality this whole time, and I got into a relationship last year. My last breakup left me traumatized, and I believe I have a lot of unresolved mental problems from then that take a lot of energy from me. And naturally, as I've got both a good relationship and a good friendship to take care of, there's been less time for her. She seems to have noticed this and found other close friends, which truly, I'm happy for her. I don't think I can keep up with her needs and wants right now, and they seem to be able to. She has told me on occasion that she feels a bit forgotten after I gotten into a relationship, which I understand. Though I think it's been made worse by the fact that she was basically my only friend for the first year. Most of this isn't actually related to what I'm talking about, but I think it's helpful for context.
Okay, so what we know right now is that
Anna and OP are best friends.
Yeah, and she kind of doesn't really have any other friends. She gets into a relationship, and then Anna feels like she's being neglected friendship-wise.
Yep.
Okay.
So it's about to probably make some sense about
why that's relevant.
Why Anna is about to like do something crazy. However, about a month ago, I was gonna move in with my boyfriend, but I got cold feet. I asked Anna for help, and she helped me formulate my words over a message where I explained what I felt to him. We're big time stoners, and we had smoked 2 joints at this point and was going down a hill to head home, when suddenly she says, I need a break from this relationship.
Oh.
I'm stoned, somewhat confused, as a second ago we were talking about something else. I just go, okay, and she continues to explain how she feels we haven't been together much, that I seem distant and uninterested about things she shares with me or invites me to. She also says I haven't taken much initiative and that I make her feel stupid and useless. She says this, I'm mostly just at a loss for words. I feel bad, but I don't know if it's guilt or just that I feel like she's not right, or if it's just paranoia from all of this after 2 joints and a mentally exhausting weekend. Either way, I agree with her, and we split ways shortly after. I get home and I write a long, angry paragraph about how it made me feel. I later shortened it down and made it nicer and sent it to her about a week or 2 later. I am a slow emotional processor, as well as that I was moving places and working full time in this time period. I could check what I wrote, but I think the gist of it is I agree with some of the things, but I'm sad and hurt that you felt it had to come to this point before taking it up with me, as well as we feel very cornered by the timing and how it was brought up. I then chose to mention a few things that I didn't agree on, such as taking initiative and leaning too much on her. She's been asking me to open up forever, but when I do, it's too much apparently. And she wrote back and said that she felt because we hadn't been as much together that it wasn't naturally for her to come to me with stuff, and therefore it became an imbalance where I came to her with quite heavy stuff and she didn't come to me. Okay, so Anna's like, even when you come to me, it's too much. And
I want to say that I feel like in this specific situation, there is a huge chance that OP is kind of not like we're getting this from OP's side. And so we really don't know if she has been kind of neglecting her friend or friendship for the relationship, which I think is, I mean, it is a possibility and is something that happens quite a lot in relationships sometimes. But so, yeah, I think you just have to have a conversation with and say like, what have you noticed? Is there a way that we can work through this, or is it just,
Yeah, because it seems like OP is coming to her just to kind of, I don't know, like trauma dump on her.
Yeah.
And
well,
Anna,
at least that's what Anna thinks. Yeah.
Yeah, and Anna's not being able to come back and like say how she feels about things. That's the vibe I'm getting.
That is the vibe, and also that's what she's expressing.
And OP also has a hard time emotionally processing things. So I think by the time she realizes how she feels, she comes to Anna and it's like a lot.
Yeah.
Instead of like, how do I actually feel, and working through it in like a lecture.
Yeah.
Okay, which I understand. I don't feel like I can blame her for it. She said that she felt I often say no to her invitations and that I haven't been inviting her as much, and that is true. However, my side of the story is that she often invites me to parties where there's booze or big groups of people, neither which I enjoy. And she knows this. So naturally, I'm going to say no to most of these invitations. And then life just gets in the way at other times. When I've invited her, however, she has plans many days and sometimes even a week or two ahead. Our schedules just haven't lined up, but we've tried to meet when we can. I've been very okay with this, as I don't feel like we've become any less friends just because we have time apart. And if anything, it gives us more to talk about when we do meet. But it seems it's been a real problem for her. She claims that she invites me to these settings because she misses me and she wants to introduce me to her new friends, which truly is a good thought. But to me, I feel like she doesn't take into account who I am and what I like when she mostly invites me to this, and I feel bad every time I have to say no. It sounds like, you know what, I'm not going to dox this person, but it sounds like one of your friends.
I was just thinking about that.
Yeah.
I was about to say I have a very similar relationship to this friend, except ours is much healthier.
Yeah.
I was literally just going to bring that up. I have a friend who I invite, like one of my best friends who I invite to everything. I'm like, hey, you know, open invite to all the things we throw. And she barely comes because, and I know her. I'm like, I want you to feel like you're invited to things, but also I know that you're an introvert and you don't want to come to these things, and we're totally fine with that. But our thing is that we make other plans, like we'll do solo things, or we'll do a thing with our other friends, and we'll make sure that we're still hanging out and we're texting. We call each other like almost every day.
Yeah.
And so there's still like an active effort, you know, on both ends where we're making sure that we're spending time and stuff, even though she's not coming to any of these things that I'm inviting her to.
Yeah, and I think they just need to have that.
They just need to have that conversation.
I don't think OP knows how to have that conversation.
Yeah.
I wish they were watching this right now so they knew how to have this conversation with Anna.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Can you get the gist here?
Yeah, because
it just sounds like OP wants to smoke a few and just chill out.
And just chill out. And that's fine. Because, I mean, with my friend, every time I invite her to something, I invite her and I say, I know you probably aren't going to come, but like, here's the invite. And it's not like I know you're not going to come. It's just like, I know you. It's fine. I just want you to know that you're always invited to things. Yeah. But also, this is going to be a big event, so you're going to be overwhelmed. So it's just like having that communication. But yeah, no, I was thinking that exact same thing. I have a very similar setup, I would say, not friendship. We have a very different friendship to these people. Our friendship is so much better.
So much better. You won't even believe how much better it is.
But it's like the same setup of, you know, we both enjoy different things. Yeah. We both have very busy schedules, and we make it work.
Yeah, Anna's an extrovert. OP's an introvert.
Yeah.
You have to work with that.
Gotta work with it.
I'll also find her wanting to do stuff or go take a drink or other things that cost money, and I don't have the budget for that anytime. She's got a lot of money in her savings and a soft cushion to fall on if she ever goes broke. I don't, so I've been feeling angsty about meeting her when I don't have any money to, and I especially don't want to be at a bar sober and not even be able to have a beer. Only fun thing to do then is hook up, and I'm not single, so that's not an option.
Having spicy sleep is the only fun thing to do at these parties. I can't even do that. So
can't even do that. So they're pointless to me. Another situation I'd like to bring in is when we were gonna meet after work one day. When she got off at 3, so I asked her over Snap the day before when we were gonna meet. She didn't open it and called me after work and said she'd have to fix a few things before we could meet, but she should be ready in an hour or two. I can't really blame her for this because I could have called and asked. But I downloaded Snapchat recently in belief that she used it more than messages, and in order to keep in touch with her and others more easily. I do have ADHD, so I can be pretty impatient. If you have it too, you probably know what I call waiting mode. To me, whenever there's less than an hour until I have to leave, I can't do anything big. I can't go for a walk, I can't make food, I can't do a quick workout session, or even turn a movie on in fear that I'll forget. And even if I can turn on a movie, it gives me this constant feeling of being distracted from something more important, and I can't enjoy the movie. Do you feel this way?
Yeah. Yeah. Really? For sure. Yeah. No, like if I have to leave in an hour, I'm like, that whole hour is just me. I have to go. You know?
Really?
Like I can't do it. Like I'm either getting ready or I'm just waiting.
That's interesting. Because like whenever like our live stream's about to happen, that's different. So it's not big to you.
It's different.
Wow.
No, I mean like
you heard it first, guys. Live streams to her are big to her.
No, they are big. They are big, and it's just different.
Okay.
It's like I'm not going somewhere.
So when she calls me about 1.5 hours later and asks to come by another 2 hours later, I've already spent about 3 or 4 hours preparing to meet her and being able to do much. I've told her that this is something that really affects me, and I get seriously impatient to the point where my blood boils. My heart races, and if the plans aren't happening, I'm going to cry out of frustration. She's usually late, and I can handle the 5 to 20, 30 minutes wait pretty well. My problem is that I don't feel like she takes this into account and tries to take an earlier bus. I've actually seen her wait inside the door until Google Maps tell her to go, only to lose the bus when she initially was early, yet she won't change her walking speed on the app. Anyways, when she asks me to come later, I tell her that I really don't want to wait any longer. She needs to bargain with me and lets me know that we didn't have a planned time, and therefore it's not her fault I've been waiting so long. She also tells me I should have called, and she just doesn't want to open any snaps. Eventually, we agree that I'll meet her an hour earlier than she wanted, and when I get there, I try to explain that this is very hard for me to keep waiting and knowing we're going to meet up soon, only for it to be pushed further and further away. She starts talking about her bipolar disorder and how it can make her time perception bad, and how she can get stuck on certain tasks because of her OCD. So these two are just not compatible whatsoever.
Yeah, it seems like they're both putting all of the, the blame on their respective like mental
Issues.
diagnosis and stuff. And it's like, okay, you guys need to figure out a way to, for that to work.
Yeah.
Or the friendship is not going to work down.
I don't say anything back because I don't want to ruin the mood, but I'm deeply hurt by this. I understand her, and as someone with effed up time perception, I do understand that sometimes time just moves too fast. I also understand getting caught up on tasks, as I'll often forget my wallet, and then my keys, and then my water bottle, and then it repeats. So I get her. I just feel like it's a crappy way of saying, oh, I'm sorry you feel like crap because of me, but it's actually not me at all. It's a symptom of 2 of my diagnosis.
But that's what you're doing, OP.
All while she hasn't really even said sorry. Yeah,
I feel like you're both doing the same thing.
Yeah,
which is annoying. Yeah, it's like you're both doing the exact same thing. You're both blaming it on your diagnoses. Like you saying, oh, it's my ADHD, and her saying, oh, it's my OCD and like bipolar disorder.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, figure a way that works out for you.
They're not taking accountability.
No. Like everyone's blaming each other for something instead of actually saying, you know what? Like, hey, I've noticed you know what? I'm so sorry that you're feeling that way. I'll try and make an active effort to be better. These are some things that could help. Like maybe if we met one-on-one, maybe that would be better. Like you find solutions instead of constantly blaming, I
understand that our diagnosis and problems with them are polar opposites, as I need to now know how long it is until we meet, and she often doesn't know. But I feel like I get the short end of the stick every time, and I always have to wait for her. I honestly can't even remember a time she was early. We've been talking a bit back and forth over messages about this. Very long messages with hours to days in between each one. The last one she sent was rather short and ended with, I'd like to take this in person. I replied and apologized for something that I already apologized for. After the initial apology, I asked for clarification on something she wrote and ended with a note. I've mentioned a few things that are important for me moving forward that you haven't really said anything about, and I'd like a reply from you before we talk about this in person. To which she said, yes, I understand and I hear you. Only then to clarify that what I asked about, and then asked to meet in person again. Now this really stunk because again, I feel that I have to take her needs into account when she won't take my needs into account. I've been going back and forth on why I need this digital reply first, and I've concluded that it's because I don't want to sit there and hear all the crap things about myself if she's not going to take any of what I said and apologize for at least some of it. She just doesn't want to waste her time.
Yeah, but I feel like in-person conversations are better because you can't misinterpret things.
Yeah, I'm misinterpreting a lot.
I don't know. It seems like you guys have just different ways of dealing with functioning.
It's not that I don't want my problems to take focus, but she has a history of not really caring about how I feel when she's mad. She left me very upset, and I've had to ask her to apologize more than once, and I'm not gonna just let her walk all over me and swallow my pride if she won't at least a bit of back it up. And I'd like the face-to-face conversation to be about her and what she feels, so getting a reply from her over messages first would help us accomplish that. And you can accomplish joining us live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, wherever. Just tap her profile.
Tap it.
How you feeling about this? Feels like a long rant.
Yeah, it does feel like a long rant, and it feels like OP's not willing to kind of accept any of her role in it, and it seems like neither is Anna. So maybe
Couples therapy.
Yeah, honestly.
Is there a thing as friends therapy?
I don't think so.
Could be.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you could probably just go to couples therapy as friends.
That would be funny.
Yeah. I think that Ming Ming says, yeah, seems like friend is self-diagnosing to one-up OP. That is a possibility.
Yeah, they're just like one-upping each other.
They're just,
Claire,
like, oh, you did this, then, well, you're mad at me for this. Well, how about this? And it's just a back and forth. I don't know how to fix this for you guys. You guys have to have a conversation, but neither of you
are willing to have that conversation. Yeah. At last, I texted her and said, I now voice to you that I need a reply from you before we meet. I'd like to meet you in person and talk about this, but I need better response than I understand and I hear you. I've agreed that we should be better at talking and meeting, but I feel this shouldn't be a constant need. I'm not the person who can meet you often for long periods of time, and honestly, I don't want friendships that depend on how often we meet. She's yet to reply, but I know she's at our fellow friend's Halloween party right now. I was supposed to be there, but I got hit with a migraine at work and had to go home. Also, I gotta say, I'm rather uncomfortable with the whole situation. I don't know how to talk to her in this mood without being bossy. So better not to talk, I guess. Anyways, there's more to the story, so please ask if there's anything unclear. So am I the a-hole? You both are.
I think you're both the a-hole.
Yeah, you both are a-holes for not.
They both need some time apart to figure out, because they seem like maybe Anna's a little bit codependent because they are their closest friends, or maybe OP is actively neglecting the friendship. I think there's a lot of different, reasons, but either way, they both need to communicate better if this friendship is going to last.
Yeah, I agree. I think the thing that's annoying is like I never got a time. Anna's like, yeah, we'll talk, but Anna never set a time. That's what I saw too.
Yeah.
I think I agree with OP on that point, but they're both, I don't know.
Messy.
Ming Ming, true. It's a friendship fallout, a brewing.
But that is the end of that story.
I accidentally invited my boss to our boys trip, and I never would have expected what he said to us. Drop them pantaloons.
You're all hired.
Yeah. You're all looking mighty fine on this boys trip.
I hope HR isn't on this boys trip too, because I'm about to do some unspeakable things.
Like give you a promotion. And yoinks. So I had been planning this weekend getaway with my buddies for months. We were going to a remote cabin in the woods to have some fun, drink some beers, and forget about work for a little while. Now, as the weekend approached, I was excited to finally take a break from my stressful job and just let loose. But that is where I messed up. No one can relax, Sam. That's not possible.
Work until you die.
There we go. Now we're talking.
Keep those capitalist wheels a turning.
Yeah. I accidentally included my boss in the group message about the weekend getaway.
Oh, dude.
Dang.
Boss is thrilled.
Oh, yeah. He's like, yeah, finally.
I feel like it's like a Michael Scott boss.
Oh,
where
dude.
it's like,
yeah,
oh my God,
bro.
my employees like me.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. This is
I just
bad.
want to be friends with them.
Yeah. So what are we gonna do, guys? We're gonna go. I brought all the crafts. We can go canoeing. I've been working on my J-stroke.
And just remember, if there's something that I want to do that you don't want to do, you're fired.
Yeah. I didn't realize this until I saw his response in the chat saying he was excited to join.
Cringe.
Yikes.
Do they have that
Super
kind of
cringe.
relationship?
Based on the way OP is talking, I have to imagine no.
Yeah.
No.
Weird that he would say yes to a
Yeah.
random invite.
Maybe he's just lonely.
Maybe he's just trying to be a cool boss.
He just wants a trip with the boys.
Yeah. It's company bonding time.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of synergy that could happen
so
over
much
there.
synergy, emphasis on the sin.
God. That's good. Ooh, okay. I'm saving that. I immediately panicked because, let's be real, no one wants to spend a weekend away with their boss.
Yeah. All bosses are trash.
Yeah. Especially people who run podcasts.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, they're the
podcast
worst.
team. Ew.
Freaking garbage,
I would
bro.
never want to hang out with them.
Dude, never.
That's what I think of them. Old farts.
That's right. Old bag of bones. 26-year-olds ready to crawl in the grave. What would you do if you had a boss that you didn't like and you accidentally invited them to the...
Well, I'm trying to think about the one boss that I've had. I guess it would be weird if he came, but I probably would be like if he was like, oh, dude, I'm hype. I probably would just end up inviting him. Because I wouldn't want to.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to like.
I wouldn't want to uninvite him.
Right. Oh, exactly. Like, oh,
sorry, I didn't mean to invite you.
Yeah, that's so hard to walk back from. What about maybe a professor you hated, or someone who's like a
professor?
Boss adjacent? Yeah, that is like super whack.
Low key, I think it would be funny.
Just a freaking 80-year-old dude.
Like,
just
hey,
like,
you can come, but you got to take shots.
Yeah.
We're gonna
Shrooms.
butt chug.
Yeah. Butt chunk.
Butt chug?
Butt chug?
You never heard of butt chugging?
Butt chug, bro.
You never heard of butt
No.
butt chugging? So you can do it with a bunch of different things. I mean, like the classic is like, inserting a tube into your butt and then pouring alcohol down the tube, like a funnel, and it gets you super fucked up because like you absorb the alcohol through your butthole. And it doesn't have time to like go through your liver, so it goes directly into the bloodstream. But a better way to do it, if you don't want to have like the whole like tube and funnel and stuff, and the other way is you soak a tampon in vodka, and then you stick it up your butt, and then you get instantly f***ed up. And one of my friends wasn't the receiver of the tampon, but he was the inserter of the tampon into another one of his friends, and said they instantly just got wrecked in a fun way.
My entire world has just dissolved. My whole understanding of human existence is just
I can't believe you've never heard of butt
in
chugging.
question. I've never in my life.
Yeah.
Wow.
Spending enough years in college.
Wow.
And you learned the important things.
Yeah, that's right. The
about
real life
education.
skills. Yeah, baby. Yeah, the real education. How to get drunk off your butthole. Wow, bro. That's
I can't believe you haven't heard of that. That's
wow.
so funny.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. You learn something new every day. So back to OP. I tried to backtrack and come up with some excuse, but it was too late. RIP. Just get your boss to butt chug and it'll be so intoxicated he won't even remember. Yeah. My boss had already made some plans to come with us, and there was no way out of it.
Oh, geez.
It was just as awkward as you can imagine.
Oh, no. The weekend happened.
I spent the entire weekend trying to have fun with my friends while also trying to impress my boss. That's so bad.
Like, it's like, yo, do you want to go fishing? I bet I can catch the biggest fish because I always bring what's best for the company back.
Yeah. Like, what if he's like trying to just slyly slide in some things like, I think we need some synergistic cooperation here.
Yeah. To make this campfire.
Yeah. I think we need to like.
I love team building and leading teams. And I really think like I could be in charge of a team and possibly be due for a new promotion.
Yeah. That's so funny. Like basically like LinkedIn speak,
yeah,
but it's a camp trip. Yeah.
Like what would be it? I
successfully organized and distributed containers of some
PB&J to all those involved. I facilitated the growth of a campfire utilizing skills that I have developed over many years with 5+ years of fire safety training.
I developed a unique method of intoxicating one's rectum. Very original. Oh my god.
Man, butt chugs.
Now I want to see butt chugs on LinkedIn.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
Trust me. Everyone who's gone to a UCLA frat has that right next to their.
Oh. I don't even want to ask. I was about to ask a question, but I'm just not even.
What's the question? Come on.
You have to have so many tubes. You cannot use a tube over again.
Use the same tube. Just clean it off. Just going into butts.
Bro, that's got to be like so like beyond the dirtiness of it. Like have you heard of the gut biome transplant?
Yeah.
It's like that, but like in a negative way. Probably in a negative way. Yeah.
That's why you do it with a tampon instead.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the smart way
That's
to
how the
do
professionals do it. Yeah. Oh God. Okay. I just have to readjust so hard after talking about that.
Wait, you're so hard after that?
You just bricked like a tampon full of
John's
vodka.
moving the boner out of the waistband.
Exactly.
For this one. Readjusting.
Hold on, boys. Back to OP. Terrible transition. I felt like I was constantly walking on eggshells, trying not to say or do anything that would make me look bad in front of him. I get it. But despite the awkwardness, we did have some fun moments. We went fishing, we played board games, we even went on a hike in the woods. I tried my best to act normal around my boss, but I could tell that he was a bit uncomfortable too. At one point, my buddy brought out a case of beer and we all started drinking.
Oh, things are gonna get frisky.
Uh-oh. My boss joined in too, and before I knew it, we were all pretty freaking sloppy wasted.
Dude, I feel like either it's gonna go really, really well right now and they're all gonna bond, or OP is gonna say some whack shit, or the boss is gonna say some whack shit.
Yeah, like, Obi, you've always been my favorite. You should have a promotion.
Yeah. But,
You should be promoted. I should promote you.
what are you gonna do for me before I give you that promotion? You know, like they say you gotta kiss ass to get to the top, or you gotta have your ass chug.
Yeah, you've heard of kissing ass, but have you heard of chugging butt?
I'll do whatever it takes.
Oh my God. Oh God. Please spare me, Lord. Please have mercy on my poor soul. What?
They need to show you a butt chugging
Oh,
video.
please don't. Oh God. Now that's when things started to get really awkward. One of my friends, let's call him Dave, started telling some inappropriate jokes. I knew I should have told him to stop, but I was too afraid of offending my boss. Wouldn't you do the opposite if you were afraid of offending the boss? Like tell him to stop so he doesn't get offended.
Tell who to stop?
His friend, Dave.
Oh, but like I guess he's like, he's like, the boss just wants to be one of the boys, you know?
Like, okay,
Yeah,
I see what
he's
you're
like, he
saying.
doesn't want to make
You don't want
it
to stop the
awkward.
fun because,
Yeah.
okay. So I just sat there and tried to laugh politely while Dave told joke after joke. Then things got even worse.
Oh God.
As they do. My boss started telling his own inappropriate jokes.
Oh God.
I couldn't.
HR. They come out of the bushes.
Yeah. Freeze.
Violation. Freeze.
Sign this now. You're fired. I couldn't believe it. This was my boss, the guy who signs my paychecks, telling dirty jokes in the middle of the woods. Overall, it was a pretty successful and awkward weekend, but at least I learned a valuable lesson.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I was satisfied by that. Always double check who you're inviting before you hit send. And maybe, just maybe, don't invite your boss to your weekend getaway in the first place.
Yo, I feel like the update is going to be good news. I got a promotion because my boss ended up having such a good time.
Honestly. Yeah, I'm curious what you guys thought in the comments below. If anyone's the a-hole in this scenario, potentially.
I don't think anyone's the a-hole. I mean, I think it is a little weird, the boss, a little weird for the boss to say yes.
Slightly. It totally depends on the relationship between him. It sounded like it wasn't that, but
it sounded, honestly, it sounds like it all went pretty well.
OP, I think, needed to just open their mind a little bit.
Open his mind and his ass cheeks.
Exactly. For a sweet soaked tampon of
justice.
Well, I won't be chugging through my butt.
But we will be chugging through this next story.
Oh, please.
My friend tried to kiss my partner for a TikTok challenge. One of my friends that I've known ever since we were in high school, where we're both about 22 now, has started to take an interest in TikTok. She already has a big Instagram following, so she decided to try something new and participated in a few challenges. Ooh. And by the way, this comes from user Throw Rap and Exchange on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, our friend group was supportive of her decision, even though the opinions on TikTok as a whole vary from person to person, from liking the app through being indifferent to disliking it with a passion. Well, now I think my friend has crossed a line that I'm not sure I can forgive it. But just like the opinions on the app are different among our friend group, some of the girls are saying that she just participated in a challenge and that I should chill out. This TikTok friend decided to kiss my boyfriend on camera as a, quote, kiss my friend and see their reaction challenge. She was always pretty close to my boyfriend, which I didn't mind since she's my friend and I trust my boyfriend not to get shady with my friend. My partner told me about what she tried to do right away. He literally sprinted out of her house and called me. Good job.
Boyfriend.
He didn't know then that it was for a challenge, but even when he learned about it from her because she was calling us both to clear up the misunderstanding, he wasn't happy about it, and I don't blame him. We both decided that it is better to cut her out of our lives
Cut her out.
for a little while to cool down. But my friend group is saying that while they can understand my boyfriend, they can't understand my reaction, and that I should be grateful that my TikTok friend showed me how loyal my partner is to me through this experience. The friend group has been making me out to be the bad guy for the past few days because I'm abandoning them and breaking girl code for a guy? I don't know. I feel like I didn't need her to test my boyfriend, first of all. And second of all, as a friend, she just shouldn't throw herself at my partner. And third of all, she shouldn't throw herself at anyone that she knows has a significant other.
Yup. Out.
That's just scummy in my book.
Yeah.
But apparently, I'm the minority
That's so
with
strange.
this opinion.
That's so strange.
Doesn't make any sense. I know my boundaries, so I guess I just turned to Reddit for some kind of confirmation. Advice on what to do, not only with my TikTok friend, but also with the whole friend group. That's 6 years of
Oh my
history
God.
together, and part of me doesn't want to throw it away, but I'm just so disappointed and betrayed.
Yeah, I think anyone that is telling you that your friend who kissed your boyfriend is like did you a favor, you need to get rid of them.
Yeah.
They gotta go.
I mean, am I being swayed in real time?
You're being
I think somebody
swayed?
just saw me get swayed in real time.
Where are you being swayed towards?
Well, it's like,
Who's swaying you?
because imagine that he does kiss her, and then it's like, yeah, hey, guess what? You need to break up with your boyfriend because he kissed me during a TikTok challenge.
But Tess are stupid because she obviously just wants to kiss him.
I mean,
She just wants to kiss him. That's why she kissed him.
I feel
and
like
then
if she
she's trying
wanted to,
excuse
then
it
but she didn't kiss him. That's the thing. There was no kiss.
because he ran away.
Right, because he was immediately like, oh, and then sprinted out of the house.
But OP never asked her to test it.
I mean, sure, but
There was no ask to test. There's no reason. I would
Oh,
never.
man.
I would. Would you ever go
No,
to
look,
test another
I'm
person's
not,
partner?
I'm not speaking on whether or not this
Get
was a
out of
good
your sway.
plan, but I think in the end,
No.
like it
That
kind
girl's
of did.
crazy.
It reaffirmed that your friendship or your relationship is really sturdy.
But she never doubted that.
I mean, yeah, it's the service provided. I think is more valuable
Crazy.
than
No, I'm saying get rid of all your
Yeah.
friends. Get rid of anyone who says this is okay.
I think maybe, yeah, there was a demon just came in here
Yeah, a
and
little
sat on
demon
my
came
shoulder
and
and,
said,
whispered
"Wait a
in my ear
minute,
and said, actually,
Dakota,
it means they have a really strong relationship.
did you think about how strong the relationship
But
is
did
now?
you think about how strong it is, Dakota? Okay, fine, I'll go to the moon.
Go
It's
to the
okay.
moon. Think about your actions.
Well, let's
and
hear
then
what
we'll
the
come back.
comments had to say. So from NCKC177, to echo what you've already said, she didn't do you a favor because you didn't need her to test your boyfriend's loyalty.
Yup.
I distance myself from any of these friends who try to convince you that this was at all helpful or something you should be grateful for, along with the girl who pulled this crap to begin with. A real friend wouldn't do this to you. And it's funny how they bring up testing his loyalty while she was the one actually betraying your trust.
Yeah.
And his too.
Yup.
You're 1000% justified in removing this person from your life. You're not the bad guy here. She put internet clout before your friendship. That's pretty
You back to the earth?
I'm back to
Okay.
reality here. That sounds
we
like a pretty
go.
good one. From her fabulousness, I didn't realize girl code allowed a girl to kiss her friend's taken man for views or
For views.
likes or whatever they have on TikTok. You are in no way the bad guy.
Nope.
And from Nikawai19, forget about girl code. Has this girl ever heard of consent?
Exactly.
I would be so angry if a friend just kissed me, whether I have a partner or not.
Exactly. Like
And we do have an update now.
coming from the boyfriend's perspective, just being like having someone try to kiss you when they know you're with a partner
Yeah.
and also just like didn't ask and also did it for views, I would be so betrayed as the boyfriend.
Yeah, I mean,
That would really suck.
it's not. Were they like they were? So
They
they,
were
weren't really
friends.
besties, though, right?
But I mean, regardless of how close you are, I think that if I had a friend who I was comfortable with and I thought was purely platonic and they tried to kiss me, and then I found out that they
Well,
did
when we
it
say-
for views.
Oh yeah, but that's the whole. This is one of the only TikTok challenges I remember ever seeing. Right?
Yeah, but
And
they're-
it was
it's
just
usually
like
for best
The
friends.
besties,
Yeah.
and then one of them just starts to lean in, and they capture the response of the other one being like, "Whoa, like, what? Yeah, you just shouldn't have done that. You
Shouldn't have
shouldn't.
done it.
That was with the wrong
Shouldn't
person."
have
I
done
think
it.
at the end of the day, what we're seeing here is this was the wrong person to
Yeah.
do the kiss your friend challenge on
This is
TikTok.
how you do the kiss your friend challenge. You get your friend who's not dating anyone. You say, "Hey, can I kiss you?" And then they say yes or no. But if they say yes, then you kiss.
And that's
Challenge
the
complete.
entire
That's
playbook
the
right
entire
there from
challenge.
the
You're
Queen of
welcome.
Worms, the Worm Queen, Sophia.
It's not tried and true on my end, but try it out, I guess.
Try it out. We got a new
Try
challenge.
it out. I don't know.
All right, let's get into this update. First of all, I want to say that I'm really thankful for all the comments I received under my previous post. I was kind of scared for the reaction that I would get from Reddit, thinking that most people would agree with my friends on this matter. I guess they really got to my head a little, as the only support that I've had, aside from my boyfriend. I've read through all of the comments and messages I've gotten, which helped me a lot with understanding what I need to do. Before dropping the news to my former friend group about me wanting to go no contact with him, I decided to talk with my boyfriend once again. A lot of you pointed out rightfully that my TikTok ex-friend literally assaulted him. I told my partner about my decision of cutting off the TikTok friend and anyone that's defending her, and assured him that I will stand by him when he decides what he personally wants to do with her. I showed him the post that I've made because I wasn't sure if he even realized that he was a victim of SA, since my country is still stuck in this backwards thinking that men can't be taken advantage of. My partner told me that he needs some time to think about the steps he would like to take against my ex-friend, but first of all, he wants to make sure that she's not going to post the video that she took of them onto her TikTok. Now to the fun part. I told my former friend group that I decided to no longer keep in touch with TikTok friend and anyone that's on her side. I also added that my boyfriend doesn't consent to releasing the TikTok she has taken with him. The TikTok friend quickly responded that him not giving her consent doesn't matter, since it's a video not taken for commercial purposes.
Damn, she sucks.
That's just one of the lamest responses you could ever
She's like,
have.
actually, legally, I can do whatever I want.
Yeah, and I'd be like, well, legally, you suck.
You freaking suck. So
And
what you do?
I'm going to legally send you to the sun now instead of the moon.
legally, you're on the sun. But I think what you do is, so you if she posts that, you go and you react post. You know, you do a little react post, and you're like, this is the tea in this video.
Yeah.
And then you get 1 million views,
Ooh.
and you
Mhm.
get all that money.
And then you flip it you flip it around on OP.
Mhm,
So you
mhm.
wanted to be famous for this OP? Guess what? Now you're going to be
You're
famous
gonna be
for it for a different
famous.
reason. You're going to be famous for being the worst.
the freaking worst.
The other friends in the group chimed in saying that she doesn't need your boyfriend's consent to post a video that's hers. We've started to argue with me saying that this is illegal and them saying that nobody cares.
Damn, these people suck.
Yeah, this is a pretty bad group.
Literally suck.
So now, aside from updating y'all on what has happened since last time, I'm asking for final advice, I guess. Not only for myself, but on my boyfriend's behalf. He already told me that if she does post the TikTok, that he will deal with her, even if it means taking her to court over it, which I completely support. But our question is, would it be very petty if we would post my original story on our social media accounts while tagging my ex-friends? We do realize that it's pretty childish, but at this point, we are thinking about taking our own little revenge on them, since consent has no importance to them apparently. Would it be worth it though?
Do it, but do it on TikTok and get the views and all
Yes.
the money.
Do it on TikTok and become TikTok
Become
famous
TikTok
for your
famous.
drama.
Come
Yeah.
on.
We do have a couple more relevant comments here.
If they're not that relevant, we don't have to read them. But yeah, I think you just have to drop these people because they literally don't care about you guys at all.
You know, we do have some replies from OP in the comments, so maybe they are a little bit
Oh,
relevant.
maybe perhaps a little relevant.
Yeah, and here's what I'll say so far.
What?
All right, I had a.
Are you had a brief
I
stint
was
on
like,
the moon?
did she do OP a favor? And then I'm like, all right, no, she didn't.
No.
She didn't do OP a favor.
We're back on Earth.
She's actually going to get thrown into the sun now
Yes.
instead of the moon because she's being like, oh, this video that you. Look, anytime somebody approaches you and is like, hey, that video we did, I'd prefer it if you didn't post it.
Yeah, of
Your response should always be, okay,
course.
I won't do that then.
Yeah.
Not like, actually, well, legally, I can
Legally.
post whatever I want because it's not commercial. It's like,
Yeah.
now you're just.
Now you're just an a-hole.
Yeah, you're a complete stanky little a-hole. Okay, Firefly 232. Just keep an eye on her TikTok, and if she posts the video, go to TikTok directly and ask for it to be taken down. OP replies, yeah, I guess our emotions are still running high. Thank you. Icy Goose 007 says, this is a tough one. First of all, props to you and your partner for being brave enough to cut them off and discuss what happened. I wouldn't personally recommend posting on social media, especially if you explicitly name them, mainly due to you and your partner considering taking legal action if they post the video. It could have ramifications on you guys. I would gather all the evidence of what happened, get a solid timeline in order to keep supporting your partner. Good luck to you both. Also, there are lots of resources online for men who are victims of assault if he needs assistance. OP says, you're probably right about the possible repercussions. Thank you. Okay. And those are the comments.
Hey.
So basically just advice for OP not to do anything that could lessen their
I
own
guess.
leverage in the situation.
Guess it makes sense.
But
Yeah,
clearly-
good cut them off.
get these people out, new friend circle. It sucks that it had to be 6 years of time now that kind of down the drain.
Yeah, but you
all
know,
because of TikTok.
I exposed my friend's toxic behavior. Now they're mad at me.
Ooh, they got got.
What?
They got caught.
Oh, they said they got yacht.
They got got.
I, 19 male, am currently in my freshman year of university on the other side of the country. For context, my race is the minority in this university, and as such, there are only 14 of us in my batch in the faculty.
Oh, I bet photographers love taking pictures of you.
Yeah, they're like, smile, and you're like, no! By the way, this comes from Diligent Penguin 7115 on the OK Storytime subreddit. So I'm giving them all fake names for ease of identification. There are so many names. Oh my God. Ken, Sean, Simon, Samuel, Stephen, Hannah, Haley, Helen, Kelsey, Kimberly, Naomi, Patricia, Paisley, and myself. This is all 14 of them, I guess, or some of them. Patricia and Kimberly are my friends from college, while the others also knew each other from their respective colleges. There is an annual tradition here in our community where the seniors arrange to meet the juniors and get to know them. Ease the process where each senior picks a junior to be their legacy so they can pass down notes, assignments, and question banks from their seniors for us to add on and pass down to our future juniors. The sophomores, who are all girls, were fun, friendly, and welcoming. The higher seniors, they were fun for the wrong reasons. Needless to say, the girls and I were uncomfortable as it was borderline ragging. But the boys, except Samuel, were enjoying them.
Let's go, Samuel.
I know. Samuel's he's the only one.
The only one.
What pushed me to my limit was when the male seniors forced me into a night of boys-only gatherings twice. So it feels like maybe this is some kind of like sorority type kind of hazing
Vibe,
stuff.
yeah.
Thankfully, nothing awful happened, as you put it, but it kind of affected me mentally. During a call with Patricia, I gave in and decided to tell her details about how the boys, particularly Ken and Simon, were making fun of some of the girls, like Hannah, Haley, Helen, and Kimberly, with some of the higher seniors chiming in as well. Patricia was unhappy, but we decided to keep it to ourselves for now. Time passed and classes began. I started to notice that Samuel didn't hang out with the other boys anymore and assumed that they had isolated him because he didn't match their vibe. And again, Samuel is the only one who wasn't like
Only
ragging
good
on the
one.
girls. More than a month after the conversation happened, I ran into the girls at my residential college who confronted me wanting to know the full story as Patricia had only told them partially. So I told them everything that happened on the boys only gathering nights, including what the boys had said. The girls were obviously cross and disgusted at the boys' behavior. 2 days later, we gathered again at lunch, this time bumping into most of the sophomores. I told them an updated version of everything that happened since our orientation with them, and they advised us to steer clear of the boys and not trust any of the higher seniors. During then, I walked out of the room we were in and towards the nearby student room where the nearest trash can was. Unexpectedly, I bumped into the boys who asked where I was coming from and if I was there alone. To which I replied I was coming from the nearby room and the girls were there as well. Here's where I may have blundered again. When the boys asked if the sophomores were there as well, I proceeded to lie and say they weren't there because I didn't want them barging in while we were gossiping about them. Of course, I was immediately caught in my lie as a few of the sophomores walked in to throw their trash mere seconds after I left. Things went quiet for the next couple of weeks. I started hanging out more with the girls and was on a mutual silent treatment with the boys. 3 days ago, I was on the phone with my mom when I brought up the silent treatment. I decided to tell my mother enough details about what had been going on, after which my mother urged me to clear the air between myself and the boys. Why? Just don't. Why?
You must be married, OP.
Yeah, this is weird.
That's
So
weird.
just we got Patricia is, I guess OP has been confiding in Patricia and we don't know if she's kind of been telling half stories.
Yeah.
And then we have all the boys but Samuel are kind of the worst. And that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah.
And she's now being told to clear the air with the boys. Mustering the courage, I spoke to each one of them individually. Then to all of them together the next day, hoping to get some clarification. That's when I came to know what went down after the lunch gossip. The girls have stopped talking to the boys. They claim that the girls ignored them whenever they tried to even greet them. The sophomores have also stopped acknowledging the boys. Consequently, they never received the aforementioned notes, question banks, etc., and were never included in any outings with them. The best part, Samuel was never isolated. He chose not to be associated with our community and left to find other friends. Samuel knows how to do it. Naturally, they blamed me for their misfortunes and demanded to know every single detail.
Oh boy.
Okay, so now OP's coming back to clear the air. And they're like, OP, you're stealing our friends and we're not getting our question banks and our notes. And OP's like, that was your fault, man.
Yeah.
I tried to hide everything and let out a few information only, while also trying to shift the blame onto the girls for spreading it and making things worse by getting the seniors involved. Why? The guys were the ones acting poorly. Why are you trying to blame other people? Why are we trying to be friends with them also?
OP's the scapegoat.
Yeah, I know. Or she's trying to scapegoat other people, it seems.
Oh.
Yeah. It seems like she's like, for some reason, wants to apologize to the guys and is going to blame everyone else to get them back on her side.
I see.
Which is very strange.
Very strange.
I repeatedly apologized to them and also volunteered to fix everything and patch things up between everyone. The boys were nowhere near consoled. They said they were disappointed in me for breaking their trust and wanted nothing to do with me ever again. I may greet them or exchange favors, but nothing more beyond that. I thanked them for having this conversation, left the room, and broke down on a call with my mom. I then met with Patricia and told her what happened. She comforted me, saying that the girls and the sophomores already had their reasons to go no contact with the boys, and my intel was simply the final nail in the coffin. Patricia consoled me and told me to look at the silver lining in the situation. She also said that the girls will always be there for me, even though you try to freaking throw them under the bus, to which I had to show her the reality that the girls can't help me with everything and that I'm practically alone now. Girl, just... what are you doing? Also, what I did has ruined everything for our friend group, our relationship with the seniors, and potentially our relationship with the future juniors. We ended the conversation with her advising me to hang in there until things get better. I know I am very much in the wrong here for sharing something that is not mine to share in the first place, but I swear I never had any bad intentions. I just wanted to look out for the girls and at the very least warn them about who we are dealing with for the next 5 years. I can't blame Patricia for wanting to do the same as well, or the seniors for wanting to check on their juniors, or the boys for just being themselves. They're being bad. They're being bad people. Also, karma is real and I have a sister at home. Thirdly, the girls and I want to save our future juniors from the tradition that we and our seniors went through during the orientation. The boys have made up their minds to continue it, and we have made up our minds to continue being live on YouTube and Facebook and TikTok every weekday at 3 p.m. PST, and you should make the decision to join us. Just tap our profile. And there is a little bit left, but it feels very weird. It feels like OP simultaneously is like, I want to tell all of the girls that the guys are behaving terribly.
Yeah.
And, I want to make sure that everyone knows about this. And then the second that everyone knows about this, and the boys are like, well, I'll be friends with you. OP's like, well, wait, like, it's not my fault. It was the other girls. And I can't be friends with the other girls now.
Yeah. Ian Silver makes a good point. She must have a lot of respect for the relationship with her mom and her opinion. I think she's just doing this because her mom wants her to make peace.
So. But it's just so weird because she's like made the original right decision to tell people about the bad behavior of these guys and is now kind of doubling back.
Yeah, and it's weird that the friends aren't trying to understand her. Yeah. They're just like, oh, whatever, we don't want anything to do with you.
Well, the boys, I get it from the boys because they kind of suck. We know that they suck.
Yeah.
But it's also just weird that she's like, I have no friends, when all the girls are like, hey, we're there for you.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird.
This is weird.
Yeah.
I don't lie. I wish I could see this friend group.
Yeah.
And see everyone and be in it to understand the vibe.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, OP's that kind of person. Or, oh, OP, these are those kind of, like, you know what I mean?
Persegriva says, how old is OP? 18. So, young.
Oh.
Or 19. 18.
Okay.
I think 18.
Okay, teenager.
Yeah, like just freshman year of college.
Got it.
OP continues. And if y'all are going to tell me to quit whining and just accept the ragging as part of the experience, believe me, I did. That's not what I would tell you. What? It's just that being the eldest in my family and having watched news of recent cases, it's the paranoia that's speaking. I know you might be thinking I haven't learned my lesson by posting this here, but I thought it might be better for an unbiased third party to have a say if I made the right choice or not. As far as I know, nobody involved in this story has read it, but if any of y'all chance upon the story and recognize it, sorry girls, not sorry to the boys. Yeah, OP, my takeaway is not that you should be, that you're in the wrong for not accepting the ragging. It seems that I'm just like upset that you're doubling back.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, well, I didn't accept the ragging, but now I feel bad because they're, leaving me, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, they suck.
Yeah, you should have made a choice and
suck with it.
You're at an age where it's good to make these mistakes and figure it out.
Yeah.
It's still weird.
Yeah.
Talk to these guys.
Don't talk to them. They freaking suck.
We need more gentlemen in this world than men.
So true.
That's my new thing.
So true.
She only treats me as a friend when it's convenient for her, and I'm tired of it.
I'm tired of it, Grandpa.
Okay, so I'm writing this on a throwaway account and also just hopeful to gain some perspective. This situation has been a few years in the making, so please bear with me. Most of the people I have talked to about this in my life love me. In return, I feel immediately go to the "she wasn't a real friend anyways" response. Now I'm just so confused by the whole situation and I feel I could use some clarity. Am I a broken record? Was she a friend to begin with? Did we both just move different ways? Was I the a-hole? I have no idea anymore. Give us some ideas here. By the way, this comes from The Office Fan 1233 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. Okay, so Brenda and I, 25 female, had been friends for years. It was a slow burn friendship. We worked together and over the years ended up becoming really close. Once the pandemic hit, we would FaceTime almost daily. I would have considered her easily my best friend, and I thought she would have considered me the same. I truly loved our friendship and Brenda as a person. I didn't really have many friends growing up, so she felt like one of my first and only true friends that I felt comfortable around. She was fun and easygoing and brought out those sides of me too also. It's worth noting that Brenda and I worked together, but only for about 2 months out of the year. The rest of the time we lived about an hour and a half away from each other. Our friendship was over 7-ish years, albeit some of that time in the beginning we weren't close as we eventually grew to be. In that time, I always, and I do mean always visited her. I would get a hotel room in the area we would hang out, or I would just drive to her area. There was one time during the pandemic we met halfway, but that was it. I would invite her over, but nothing ever came of it. I also would always be the driver. Now I know she didn't love driving, but had somewhat driver's anxiety, which I totally understand, so most of the time this didn't bother me. I enjoy driving. She didn't so much. I didn't read that much into it. Those around me, however, did take notice that I would hear often that perhaps she was using me. But with how much we talked and how the genuine friendship felt, I couldn't imagine this being the case, so I just shrugged it off. It's also worth noting during the months that Brenda and I were in the same town for work, we always tried to make time to get dinner and hang out. Since this was far more convenient than the usual hour-and-a-half commute, we tried to take advantage of the only 5 minutes from each other while we could. Brenda eventually met her now partner, Jason. When they first connected, it was around those few months I'm in town. At first, I didn't know anything about Jason, so I was constantly trying to hang out with Brenda. This was also the first year that we were not working together, but we were still only 5 minutes away from each other in the same town. We have previously talked about getting together like usual during these months, so every week without fail, I would reach out. Every week, she had a reason she couldn't. I see you.
I'm prioritizing.
Eventually, I found out that Jason came into the picture around then. I'm still not sure if she was genuinely busy or if she just wanted her time with her new partner, which I totally understand, but I didn't even know there was a new partner at the time. The whole situation left me honestly feeling a bit hurt. She also forgot my birthday around the same time. Not the birthday.
Not the birthday.
And proceeded to 3 years in a row, which usually wouldn't be an issue, but compiled with everything just highlighting to our perhaps unequal friendship.
Girl, you have higher standards. She forgot your birthday 3 years in a row? Put that in the calendar.
Put it in the calendar.
Put it in the calendar.
Anyway, she was reaching out less, and I just felt confused by it all. During this time, I reached out quite often. That's a common theme of our friendship. If I didn't hear from her for a while, I would check in because we both separately had dealt with mental struggles, and I always wanted to make sure the ones I love are okay.
Yeah, nice.
Eventually, I finally reached out again, this time addressing my feelings head on. Okay, we're getting somewhere here.
Okay.
At this point, I personally felt like our friendship was totally slipping away. Her replies were short and lacked any genuine conversation. We barely talked on the phone or hung out in person, and it seemed so obviously different to me. She somewhat freaked out and seemed surprised by my feelings, and we talked later through. She said if she didn't reply to just spam her to not feel weird about that. I shared that feeling like I'm begging for someone's attention or friendship strikes somewhat of a nerve for me. I said I would try to be less sensitive, and she said she would try to take my feelings into account also. Move forward another year-ish, and things had gotten a lot better. She moved to a much further state, which sucked, but we talked fairly often on her way home from work. I went and visited them, her and Jason, when they first moved. It's funny that she moved across the country and she's like, I'll talk again. I guess I'll see her now.
Oh, guess I'll see her more now.
They were still staying with Brenda's mom, so I rented an Airbnb so I didn't impose. I made sure to get one big enough for all of us so that Jason could join and so I could get to know Jason a bit more. From the interactions we had, he seems like an awesome guy, and I was so happy for her. I really thought things were up again and hoped she saw the effort I was trying to put into not letting the distance impact our friendship too much. Then, almost 2 years ago, I met Dean, my now husband. You know any Deans?
No.
I do.
Dean.
After years of being lonely and Brenda and I sharing each other's lonely single chronicles with each other, I finally met the one. Dean and I had an instant connection, and he is truly the most incredible person and blessing to my life. During this time, there were obviously so many exciting events that I was thrilled to share with Brenda. It seemed, though, that as soon as it couldn't be exact on her terms of communication, completely reverted. So if it's not on her terms, she can't do it.
Yeah. It just seems like you need to maybe move on from this friendship. She's not putting in a lot of effort, and that's not fair.
Here we go. For instance, if I would miss her call on her drive home from work, but then she'd see the notification and ask if we could chat for a few minutes, afterwards she would say she was home already. I do get being tired after a long day, but I'm trying my best to get a full picture. Eventually, I wouldn't be able to get her on a call at all. For months, I'd reach out and she would reply, but not really participate in any conversation. I tried asking if we could call or FaceTime sometime this week, and it would never happen. Eventually, it got to the point where she really knew nothing about my life. I had moved in with Dean and so badly wanted to talk to my best friend, and I still couldn't get her on the phone.
Yeah, this is just not a person who's like putting you as a priority at all.
I also felt a bit embarrassed that the person I told Dean was my best friend at the beginning of our friendship seemingly couldn't give me even a few minutes of her time beyond a few empty generic text messages. I checked in on her many times trying to figure out what was going on. Finally, I snapped and sent her a message saying, essentially, I feel as though this friendship has been uneven for quite some time, and until she's willing to talk about it, hopefully pursue a more equal dynamic, I didn't think we could be friends anymore. I said if she couldn't reply to this, I understood, and she didn't.
That's crazy though, to have like a call out from like a person that you're supposedly friends with and then just not reply to it.
That would suck.
Wow.
If I was like, Angie, Sophia's my best friend.
Yeah.
And you were never around.
Yeah, I just like was like, and you like texted me and you were like, hey, let's hang out. And I was just
Like, what was the last thing I texted you? I know you didn't reply.
what?
I said, do you have any lime juice? She says, no, alas. I said, F. She said, sorry. I said, you should be.
okay, but that was the end of the Is that did I really have to respond to you should be?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Should have been like, I'm
I
on
have
my way
to
to get
end
some.
every conversation. I have to have the final word.
Yeah.
Okay, I know now.
Even though I initiated this, all I wanted was for her to see how much her lack of engagement in our friendship hurt me. A few months later, I got engaged and I was flooded with joy, but also emotion because the one friend I wanted to tell wasn't in my life anymore.
That sucks.
So I reached out. I don't like being a prideful person or let pride take away from potential healing, so I somewhat ate crap. I admitted any fault I thought I had in the situation and apologized. I said I should have tried to talk to her about it with her more and shouldn't have been so hasty. I said I miss her and I feel like we have a once-in-a-lifetime friendship that isn't perfect, but I should have worked on it more. I didn't say that I disagreed with what I said because truthfully, I didn't, but admittedly, I could have gone about things in a better, more productive way. Her response was basically that she just wants to forget it happened and move on.
What? She just wants to gloss over it.
This never happened. Yeah, we can just forget about it,
She's
actually.
like, whatever, it's fine.
I'm willing to move on if you are.
It seems like on OP's friend's side, she's just like, this is a casual friendship, and we don't have to actually bring up any big issues. And OP's like, no, this is a really important friendship to me, and I want to like actively address my concerns.
Yeah. So, although I would have loved to talk about it, I did what she said. I just went back to talking like usual. We sent messages back and forth for a few days and then silence because she probably told me to spam her and I don't feel weird about it if she doesn't answer right away. I did that exactly. If I saw a post that reminded me of her, I sent it to her or I'd check in to see how things were that day. As someone with pretty high anxiety, I was truly trying my absolute best to take what she said as truth and not to read into things. Eventually, a A week turned to a month, and it was just me trying to have a one-sided conversation. I felt like I looked crazy, lol. Finally, I was about to send invitations to my wedding. I tried reaching out to make sure the address I had was still the current one, and that was the final straw. I messaged her and just said essentially I was going to try to take no answer as the answer, and that I wish this could all have been different, but she wouldn't hear from me again. I never heard from her.
So he's like, if you don't respond, that is the answer. And that's what happened.
And you can happen to join us live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST. Just tap our profile. We go live on
TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. Just tap our profile.
My brain is melting. I'm just going to finish this.
Finish it.
There are no
Finish
plot lines.
it.
There are no plot lines. Now, 2 weeks after the wedding, I sent one final message that I absolutely probably shouldn't have sent, just saying how I would love to talk it out if one day she wants to. I truly hope to hear from her and wish her and Jason nothing but the best. I guess my question to all of you is, what do you think this situation was? I almost would rather her have told me off than ghosting me after years of friendship. I feel like I had no resolution, and honestly, that's a really hard feeling for me. I'm not great at letting things go. I know this, and I'm actively trying to improve myself in that way. I just genuinely do feel, though, as I was a good friend for Brenda, and I don't know, just can't wrap my head around this. The only thing I could see creating this outcome is if our friendship just truly didn't mean that much to her, but it feels so wild. I can't imagine all our fond memories being so one-sided. I also feel like a total broken record that I am so still torn up about it. I also did find out that another very long-term friend of hers, even longer than me, had a similar experience, though they later began talking again. I just would love some outside thoughts. Clearly, I need to move on. I know that. But it would be nice to hear from someone other than my mother or husband. Ha ha ha. If you made it this far, truly thank you for all your listening, and I hope you have an amazing day. Sending good energy everyone's way. Thank you. I needed that. I would have been mad if you didn't say that again.
Yeah.
Dude, get out. Get out. This is just
stop.
one-sided.
Yeah. Like, why keep pursuing someone who doesn't care about you?
Yeah, and like you sent her a wedding invitation
Yeah.
to the biggest day of your day of all days, in the days that could have been days.
Yeah.
You just
No, Ming Ming says
ignored
OP sounds like an ex who got ghosted. Yeah. Like you keep reaching out, expecting change and stuff, and they don't care enough to respond.
agreed. I'm getting. Do I have to do a TLDR of this one?
I don't know how you would.
I'm good at TLDRs actually.
Okay. Our friends are getting married, but only my boyfriend is invited to the wedding. That's messy.
That doesn't sound like it's going to lead to any sort of bad situations.
Throwaway, because I've had my main for long enough that it's not as anonymous as it could be, and I would like to remain so as much as possible here. So for context, I, 23 female, have known this guy, 24 male, I guess I'll call him Roger, for 6 years now. He and I were put in a musical ensemble together our first year of college, and we stayed in it for 4 years. By the way, this comes from Leopard Brilliant 5385 on the OK Storytime subreddit. This group is also where I met my boyfriend, 24 male, and where my boyfriend met Roger also. There were a couple other guys in the group, and we were all and have remained pretty good friends, especially since the other 4, including my boyfriend, are in a band together. I wasn't excluded from this group. I just really wasn't interested in this time commitment, so I declined to join when they started out. They have actually become pretty well known in our local scene. They're a really talented group. Anyways, on to the current situation. Roger has been with his fiancée, 22 female, since before I met him. And when she came to the same school we were in, all the rest of us in the group became pretty friendly with her. I wouldn't really consider her a friend. We have no beef as far as I'm aware. We just aren't really close, and we only really talk at shows. I do like her, though, and we always make a point of saying hi to each other when we see each other and having a friendly chat. So my boyfriend and I have known these guys literally the same amount of time. We spent all of college with Roger, seeing each other at least twice a week for this group, although it was usually much more. And we still hang out with them sometimes outside of the band scene. So Roger is getting married to his fiancée this summer. I, of course, wished them both congratulations when I heard the news of their engagement. A couple months ago, we got the save the date in the mail. It was addressed to only my boyfriend, which I thought was a bit odd, but it was the only save the date. But it was only the save the date, so I didn't really think much of it. Put it on the fridge. Well, last week, the wedding invite came. It was again addressed to just my boyfriend. We opened it, and there was no indication of even a +1 or anything. which I really don't think I should be a +1 for my boyfriend. I feel I should be invited on my own merit. That is, regardless, I think even if you don't really like her, you can't not invite this person that you've known for the same amount of time as the boyfriend, or at least, at least give him a +1.
This person, if they're going out of their way to cause a problem here, there's no way they're not.
Yeah.
They had
this is
to
just
have
messy.
known this was going to cause a problem.
This is just messy. My boyfriend said that maybe they just addressed it to him because we live together. But that's exactly my point.
Right.
We live together, so it's for both of us. It should be addressed to both of us. Otherwise, I assume mail addressed to him is his. I'm honestly incredibly hurt by this. I guess it's fine if they don't really see us as friends, but I still feel like the fact that they know my boyfriend and I both live here, and they know I'm expecting to be invited, seeing as everyone else from this old group is making this feel like a real punch in the gut. So I guess my question is twofold, actually. Am I the a-hole for being offended by this in the first place? And would I be the a-hole if I asked them why I wasn't invited? And there is an update, but what do you think about those last two questions?
Well, I think in terms of being the a-hole of being offended that you weren't on the I think given the context it's a wedding.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like if you're going to send the invitation here, you why isn't both of our names on it?
Yeah,
it's like,
why wouldn't?
It's like it's like you're being so unclear, but it's almost like it's like you're trying to do it like, are you being unclear by accident? Or are you trying to make a point of telling me I don't want you there? It's like, it feels very weird.
I used it to previously ask about the situation on Am I the A-hole a couple months back, but as the event is approaching, my fiance is starting to make me question if I'm actually reading the situation right, and I just would really like to get some other takes on the situation. So to summarize my previous post, we have friends unsure on that one, getting married this weekend. The question of my last post was about the fact that my name was not on the invitation that was sent to my fiance's and my apartment. My fiance and I met each other at the same time as we met the groom, and we got together about a year and some change later. We worked pretty closely in a musical group throughout school, and then my fiance and the other members of that group decided to continue and form their own band. I was not excluded from this, just was not particularly interested in the time commitment, and I don't regret that decision because they are busy MFers. But being that my fiance and I are still together, I still see the groom and his bride to be quite often. We've never had any beef as far as I know, and we always have friendly conversation and say hello to each other, like each other's stuff on Instagram and whatnot. Given the background of our relationship and the fact that my fiance and I have lived together for 3 years, and they sent the invitation to the apartment that we share, the fact that my name was not on the invitation says to me that I am not invited. My fiance kept trying to say oh, maybe they didn't know they were supposed to put your name on it too, or insisting it was a mistake because maybe someone else wrote the invites. To which I told them they would have written the invites based on the names they were given.
Right.
I asked if I would be the a-hole if I asked them why I wasn't invited, to which I was told I would be, and I was probably right I wasn't invited.
What?
Oh, by Reddit?
What?
I don't think you would be the a-hole.
Dude, it's that's why sometimes people who are just chronically online don't remember that you can just ask people questions and have a conversation.
Yeah.
You're just no, you're not invited, and that's probably because you suck. And it's what? Just ask. It's not that big of a deal.
Though others did agree on how insanely rude it was of them. I accepted that answer, and while I still feel the whole thing was rude, I've let it go, and I don't plan to talk badly about them or to them or cause any drama because it's up to them who's at their wedding. They won't be at mine. My fiance accepted I was right about the situation after another person from this group also recently sent out save the dates for his wedding, and both our names were on the invite. And I pointed out to him a month before we'd received an invite from one of my fiance's friends I'd only met a couple times, and both of our names were on the invite. But I digress. The purpose for today's post is that the wedding is this weekend. For some reason, my fiance keeps asking me if I'm going. Apparently, he asked the groom, and he was told verbally that I'm invited. But given the fact that my name was not on the invitation, nor was it on the save the date we received earlier, I really can't just go off of that as enough evidence that I am welcome there.
Well, I think you can.
I don't know. I think you can have a conversation then. If your partner literally asked, say, was hey, Is she invited? And they said yes. I think you could definitely have a conversation with them now and be like, hey, I just like was wondering why it wasn't on the invite. And maybe they'll say like, oh, we just like didn't even think.
Did he ask though? Is
The
he just
boyfriend, or is
saying
he
that?
just saying that?
Because why? Like, I don't know. I don't understand the resist. As soon as I would have heard like, oh yeah, I talked to the groom and he said that you're invited and
been
of
like,
course
oh,
you can come. I'd be like, oh okay.
Yeah.
It's problem over.
I think, yeah, but I don't know. I think maybe all of these Reddit people have gotten into Opie's head.
Yeah, probably.
I really believe that if I was invited after my fiance asked why my name wasn't on the invitation, one of them should have reached out directly to me if they are actually expecting me to show up. That is true.
That
is true.
Definitely true.
I think if someone reached out to me and was like, hey, like, is my partner invited? And I was like, oh my God, of course. Like, I'm so sorry. I didn't even think.
That is true, yeah.
But they haven't. And for some reason, my fiance believes they're expecting me to be there. And he keeps saying he doesn't want to have to explain to people why I'm not there. And I keep telling him there isn't anything to explain. I wasn't invited. But here's where I'm conflicted. I truly do not want to start drama surrounding their wedding. I respect their decision not to invite me if that's how they want their day to be. I don't think anyone should ever have to invite someone to their wedding that they don't want to. But I also am fully aware that there are going to be several people there who are close to my fiance and I as a couple who are going to wonder why I'm not there. And it may cause a fuss if anyone asks the bride and groom directly. Which I realize may come off as main character syndrome, and I don't really think people will be that concerned about where I am. But my fiance and I go everywhere together, so my absence will definitely be noticed by our friends, and some of them aren't good at knowing when to just let things be. And so I genuinely have no idea what to do here. Here are the options I can see right now. Number 1, take my fiance's word as it is, that they do want me there despite everything saying the opposite, and show up, risking being unwelcome and possibly upsetting them on their wedding day. Don't go. Number 2, come up with a fake story for my fiance to tell everyone so that nobody will try to go poking for gossip. Number 3, don't go. Tell my fiance to either just state the truth that I wasn't invited, or he can come up with the story on his own if he's not comfortable with that.
What? How is there not a fourth option
Where you talk to them?
Ask a question.
Yeah, I think we could communicate a little bit more.
You could literally solve this entire mystery with one sentence on a phone call. Hey, am I invited to your wedding?
Yeah.
Done.
Yes
or no, right
Done.
there. Then you figured it out.
I'm leaning towards option 3, which honestly does feel kind of petty. And my reasoning is that if they didn't want people to ask why I'm not there, they should have invited me to be there.
I'm sorry. It's just funny that it was like after being like, you could do this with one sentence. She's like, and I'm going to pick the most complicated possible solution to this problem.
Which definitely is a bit petty. But I just don't see why I should lie for them when they don't even respect me as my fiance's long-term partner, who they have spent many years getting to know, let alone as a friend to them. What do you guys think? Is there another option here where I don't feel like I'm being a doormat while also avoiding coming across as an a-hole? Communication.
Why is it like we're at a point now where people think that just asking a question
is like the worst thing in the world.
A-hole. It's like, why are you doing? It's like people are so frozen and like, I don't want to be perceived this way. It's like, just move with the energy that you want to move with.
Like you're not going to be an a-hole if you're coming from like just a curiosity.
Right.
Also, there's one detail I couldn't figure out where to fit in here, but when we initially received the invitation, the second envelope for the wedding addressed to just my fiance, I talked to a friend of mine about it who vaguely knows who the couple is because I wanted to ask someone who wouldn't bring it up to them if I was overreacting. And she ended up telling me last month that she found out a different friend of hers who was really good friends with the bride all through school and thought they were friends was also not invited.
Okay, the plot thickens here.
Yikes.
What's going on? Is she like burnt?
She's like burning bridges left and right.
Burning all these bridges?
Yeah.
What happened?
I don't know if that makes much difference in the overall take of the situation, but it does seem relevant. Edit, if you aren't going to read the post, don't comment. I wanted to ask them for clarification, but since I've never been in this position before, I wanted to ask others who maybe have more experience with weddings how I should ask. Everyone said that I would be an absolute a-hole for even considering asking it's their wedding, and it is obvious I'm not invited, and putting them in that position to have to tell me that to my face would be wrong. But again, I think it's okay.
Yeah, no,
it's fine.
all of that is
if you're
so
genuinely
wrong.
confused, it's okay to like ask for clarification.
Yeah, and if they already didn't invite you, guess what? They're not gonna feel bad about telling you again.
No, they're gonna be like, yeah, we like had a small
Mhm.
wedding, we couldn't fit it. They'll say something like that.
Dude, imagine that's just all this is.
Yeah.
This is just like, oh, we just didn't have enough space.
Mm-hmm.
And all it would take is one phone call.
Yeah. Instead of getting mad at me for asking for advice on handling the situation, you should have joined in the first time I asked, and then maybe the reaction you would have received would demonstrate to you why I thought it was inappropriate to ask.
Nah,
Is OP like calling
nah.
out Redditors?
She's just calling out Redditors, but also it's like, no, call out yourself
Call
still.
yourself,
Come on,
yeah.
OP. Take a little responsibility.
Edit 2. Also, I apologize that previous post I mentioned isn't anywhere to be found. Thank you to everyone who had actual advice and helped me figure out the right decision to me. To everyone who's been super condescending about me not asking them, how would you feel if you didn't invite someone to your wedding and they confronted you about it? I get you should be upfront with them, but some people just don't want to risk the drama, and I guess that's fine too. It's their day. It's not really my place to kick up a fuss about it. If it turns out that it was a mistake, then they can explain that to me and we can laugh about it and move on. But if I am in fact right, it would be really crappy to them to make a fuss about it when the day has nothing to do with me. This isn't about this generation too scared to talk to people. It's actually about having common courtesy to realize when it is appropriate to make a situation about me and when it is not.
Are you doing this on the day of their wedding while she's at
Yeah,
the
you wouldn't be
altar?
doing it on
Because
the day of the
Because
wedding.
that's the only situation. You're describing this like you asking
Yeah,
if
you're
you're
doing it in
invited
the
is
lead
going
up.
to single-handedly destroy the entire wedding.
Also, like, presumably you're not that important if they say, oh yeah, you're not invited to the wedding. They're not, and you're like,
Right,
well, I'm not coming. They're not
That's
going to be
the
devastated.
disconnect.
Yeah.
I don't get that.
This is one of those situations where it is not. So I wanted to know the best way to make sure I uphold the fact that I don't want to be a source of drama for them surrounding the wedding. I did get a lot of good perspectives about possible mistakes that could have happened here, and I'm super happy to accept that as a reality if they explain that to me. But for right now, I'm just going to quietly accept the situation as is and find something fun to do this weekend instead. Update 2.
Yeah, let's get into it.
It won't let me link the original post for some reason, but it's on my profile. This is not a very interesting update, but several people asked for one, so I thought I would just explain how things went yesterday. So first of all, I'm very glad I didn't go.
Oh.
Okay.
Ooh.
My fiance was quite unhappy when he came home from the wedding and told me I was on to something. Okay, you know what? Guess you were right. Turns out I was not the only partner that was missing, but my fiance is still a bit confused by the whole thing because it struck him as really weird about the people who didn't have their partners there. Plenty of people did ask about me and where I was. My fiance just kind of generically told them I couldn't make it, but the bride and groom did not ask about me. Though the groom came up to my fiance and said something about, can't wait for your wedding. You're not invited, girly pop. Which is what made him realize I was right about the whole thing. None of the bridal party, many of whom we knew well, asked about me, which also stood out to him considering how many of the guests did. One thing that strikes me as odd is that my fiance confirmed there was no designated seat for me, but there were a lot of empty seats. So that isn't like, there isn't like a,
Yeah.
oh, there's too many people, we can't invite that.
Yeah,
You.
definitely not that.
Which leads me to wonder if they knew how entirely confused and weird this was, and they were preparing for people's spouses that weren't invited to show up and play it off by having a seat available. I don't know. That's pretty much it. The whole thing honestly feels even more confusing after the wedding, but I do at least think it's pretty clear that I was right and made the right decision in not going. No real drama happened, and I'm not going to really bother to try and find out more from them or from anyone else, but it is disappointing to say the least. My fiance is pretty disappointed too to find out how little these friends respect not just me as a person, but me as his partner. But that's just how it goes sometimes, I guess. And it also, the way that we go sometimes is live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST on YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. Just tap our profile.
Yep, just give it a tap.
That's
all
the
it
way we
takes.
go.
So, well, sometimes it might take, but just tap until you're in the live. Let's
just
put it
keep
that way.
tapping.
And
And there is a little bit left of the story.
I'm kind of flabbergasted here that
Yeah.
maybe the best move was not to make the phone call.
I guess you were right.
I do kind of disagree though, where she goes, I guess you didn't have any drama that like leaked outside of yourself, but this entire time where you were like debating like whether or not or what it is or what it isn't, I feel like that in and of itself is like a form of drama.
Yeah.
But it was like just for you. And I think you could have just avoided it all and like I don't know. I feel like
some
if you called this
clarification.
person who clearly, I guess, doesn't like you or
Yeah.
something, we're still kind of unsure on exactly what that
Why
was.
they didn't invite you.
But I feel like you would have picked
Yeah.
up on if you called him or he, y'all called them together
Yeah.
and said,
Your
"Hey,
boyfriend
so we
or
just
your
wanted to
fiancé.
confirm, like, is there was her name missing on, like, is she invited or what?" And based on, I'm sure if this person hated you, you'd be able to pick up the vibe
Yeah.
and then be like, "Okay, so I guess I don't need to go to that." But
Guess
either
I'm
way,
not going. But either way, don't invite them to your wedding. They don't deserve it.
Don't do that.
But there is a little bit more to this story. I really just wish they had been direct, even if the reason they gave was a lie, that I wasn't invited. I would have understood if they said it was a matter of numbers, but the way they went about this just seems so pathetic and cowardly to me. But it appears as if we weren't the only long-term couple they did this to. So I think it says a lot more about them than it does about me, for sure.
Indeed.
Thanks to everyone who gave advice and offered different perspectives. I'm super thankful I posted here because you guys really helped me feel confident in my read on the situation, and you all helped me make the right decision to avoid the most drama or embarrassment. And that is the end of that story.
Well, good job avoiding that drama. I guess I would have made it more dramatic, but I guess
I guess we were all living for the drama.
I'm just not afraid of that phone call, you know?
Yeah.
Not afraid to make a phone call. I think there's one more story in this.
There is one more story.
Yeah, there is
Yes.
one more. I finally cut off my manipulative friend, but I can't stop thinking I might be in the wrong.
Don't overthink it. Keep them cut off.
Yeah,
No questions.
that was definitely not overthought, I'll tell you that. I've been dealing with a really difficult situation involving a former friend, and I'm torn about whether I'm in the wrong for stepping back from the friendship. By the way, this comes from user wildpayment3315 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, for privacy reasons, I've changed all the names in the story. Here's who they are. Tammy, my former friend, who has been emotionally impulsive. Oh, we might need the board for this. We've got Tammy, the former friend who has been emotionally impulsive and manipulative in our friendship. Yes. And then there's Amira, a mutual friend and advocate for marginalized communities. There's Jessica, another mutual friend who seems to be on Tammy's side. And Samantha is Tammy's daughter. So to continue on with the story, I'm posting here to get an outside perspective because this situation has been emotionally exhausting and I want to make sure I'm handling it in the best way possible. I've been dealing with a difficult situation with someone who was once my friend, and I'm torn about whether I'm in the wrong or not. To give some context, this person, whom I'll refer to as Tammy, has a trans son. Tammy has a tendency to be emotionally impulsive and often does things without taking accountability for them. For example, a while ago, she accused a man of sending her exploitive material on Instagram during a TikTok live. The material was spicy in nature, but she claimed it involved children, which it did not. Whoa! That is a crazy accusation to levy at someone. Dude!
That's a big claim.
Dude, like that's like you go to jail for saying that about someone when that's not true. Damn. That can ruin someone's entire life.
Yeah.
Instantaneously. Woof. This happened around the same time that she had a falling out with 4 of our mutual friends who felt she wasn't taking responsibility for her actions. Tammy's emotional response to the situation was to kick everyone out of the group chat on Instagram, something she's done multiple times before when things don't go her way.
That's exhausting to be friends with that type of person.
Tammy just sounds like not a fun time for anybody. So, she tends to push people away and make things about her, which has made it really hard for me to maintain a healthy relationship with her. During that time, I stood by her despite disagreeing with how she handled the situation with the man, but I didn't agree with her actions. She never apologized to the man, nor did she apologize to me for how she treated me during that time. Around the same time, Tammy said some hurtful things to me, which felt dismissive of my experiences. She implied that I just needed to try harder in a way that minimized my struggles, especially as a trans person. Oh, so OP is also trans. She went on to compare my struggles to her son's journey, highlighting how he had mental health issues in the past but had overcome them, now living in California with a beautiful girlfriend, engaged and thriving.
And she's comparing that to OP. She's like, you should try harder. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Stop comparing people's journeys.
Comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah, you're thieving all that joy.
Put it on my tombstone.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like she put him on a pedestal, and it made me feel like my experiences, particularly as a trans person, didn't matter. Her words were hurtful, and it seemed like she was more focused on her son's story as a success narrative rather than recognizing the validity of my own. Tammy also told me that she was looking for me to be responsible because apparently she thought I somehow wasn't showing responsibility. I was completely taken aback by this, especially since I had admitted when I'd done something wrong every single time. More specifically, I apologized to Tammy for trauma dumping on her several times. I owned up to the fact that I was trauma dumping, and I apologized and I owned up to it. I do not know where she's coming from with these allegations of me not taking responsibility. To me, that is responsibility. I don't understand what she expects from me. What else is she asking for when I've already owned my actions? It's disheartening that I'm in my late 20s and yet she, in her 50s, is acting more like a teenager, not someone who is older than me.
Why are you friends with her?
She's not an elder in any sense, and the way she behaves is really disappointing. Around the same time, Tammy began worrying that I would leave her too and sent me thousands of messages expressing her fear that I would abandon her just like the other friends had. I hadn't responded for a while because I was at work, but she became fixated on this idea that I was going to leave her, even though I was just busy.
Yeah.
Her worry and desperation came off as manipulative, and it seemed like she was trying to emotionally control me into staying in the friendship on her terms. Meanwhile, this is the person who kicked all of her friends out of the group chat.
Yeah, it's like she's
disagreeing
already
with them.
pushing people away, and then she's trying to pull them back.
Yeah.
Which is just a very manipulative person, you can say.
Yeah.
Also, Josephine, just to clarify, OP is a trans person, and then I think that Tammy has a daughter named Samantha and a trans son. I think there's two separate people.
Yeah, could be.
That's my understanding of the story.
I mean, like, you could also theoretically have a trans son who goes by Samantha.
That's also true.
Right? It's like,
Mhm.
the world is a complex place. This has been a recurring issue with, I guess, Tammy. She doesn't seem to know how to emotionally regulate, and it often feels like I'm caught in a cycle of her needing constant reassurance. She doesn't seem to understand boundaries or take responsibility for her actions. It seems like if she doesn't get the reaction she wants, she just throws a tantrum or tries to guilt people into sticking around. To add to that, when I reached out to Amira, another friend who we'll mention shortly, who is the cool friend,
You have her as cool.
I reached out to Amira on Tammy's behalf. Tammy asked me to try and get some resolution between her and Amira because they both call out problematic people on TikTok and advocate for marginalized communities. However, Tammy wanted to join forces with Amira to start calling people out together, but she failed to acknowledge that Amira was going through her own struggles at that point. Tammy didn't take Amira's personal situation into account and just moved forward with the plan without thinking about what Amira was experiencing at the time. It felt selfish because Tammy didn't consider how this might impact Amira's well-being. All of this came after I reached out to Tammy because of the situation that happened with my family on Thanksgiving. My family was not accepting of me as a trans person, and I was reaching out for support. Instead of providing support, Tammy turned it into something about her and her experiences, further distancing me from her. On top of this, Tammy said that I did not ask how she was doing before starting to talk to her about my family situation. This is a lie because every single time that I would ever talk to her, whether it was through text or on the phone, I would always ask her how she was doing. The four friends ultimately left Tammy because of her actions, her impulsivity, and how she handled things. They also felt it was a liability to be associated with her. I can't blame them for feeling that way. Yeah, especially after like the false allegations we talked about at the beginning.
I think you just need to also kind of go that route because she seems like a lot to deal with. A piece of work, I gotta say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is not somebody to just be like, well, whatever. We'll just keep hanging out, I guess.
This is a really taxing friendship.
Yeah. On top of everything, Tammy's daughter, Samantha. Okay, so
so there's a daughter and two children.
Tammy's daughter, Samantha, has posted things on TikTok indirectly targeting me. I responded in kind because I don't believe I should be intimidated into feeling bad about myself or what I did. I stood up for myself, and I won't be manipulated into feeling guilty for that. It's exhausting to constantly feel like I need to justify my actions and who I am just to maintain peace. As for Jessica, the mutual friend who was taking
Tammy's side,
I feel like she's taking sides and favoring Tammy more. I'm not sure what it will take for her to see the situation for what it is. Maybe she'll have to experience an encounter with Tammy herself to understand. Some people don't learn unless they go through things like that, unfortunately. Additionally, I want to touch on how Tammy has been incredibly ableist towards me. Both in the past and more recently, she dismissed my experience and struggles as a trans person. When I was going through difficult times, she demanded that I seek mental health, even though I've already sought help in the past and I'm not currently in a position to do so. I don't have health insurance to pursue therapy or counseling, and the hospitals around here aren't always the best, especially when it comes to mental health care for queer people. Tammy knows this, but despite that, she insisted that I go to the hospital. It's frustrating because she claims to be an ally to the LGBTQ+ community, but her actions tell a completely different story. Her dismissiveness and demand for me to quote-unquote fix myself was incredibly ableist and just added more pressure to an already difficult situation. I don't know if I agree with that.
What?
Well, I mean, the being like, go here, like, well, I've been to that hospital, it doesn't work. But and clearly Tammy is like, from everything else we've seen, is not a great friend or a great person. But I think someone telling you like, hey, you should get help for that, whatever it is, I don't think that's...
I don't think it's necessarily a bad or like outright a bad thing, but I think it depends on the context.
Yeah.
Like here it seems like Tammy was badgering OP about it, and OP was like, I can't afford this.
Mm-hmm. But
like,
just
this
not
is not
on the surface. I just don't want anyone to get the wrong idea that on the, if you think a friend needs help and you want to tell them that they should try to get help, by all means, you can express that.
Yeah.
I was blocked by Tammy after the aftermath of me trying to seek support from her after the situation that happened with my family on Thanksgiving. Tammy also threatened me, saying that if I was still friendly with the friends that had abandoned her, that she would expose me on social media.
For what?
Yeah, exactly. For what?
For being friends with people?
Yeah, this is absurd.
Yeah.
Remember, this all happened over TikTok, but Tammy was involved in 4 different activism groups in her local area, and every single one of those activism groups kicked her out. I suspect she was kicked out of these groups because she has a tendency to want everybody to listen to her. It's almost like she wants to control everything and have her daughter involved in everything as well. And by the way, we want all of you involved in our live streams when we go live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitch. All you got to do is tap on our profile.
Tap that profile.
And you're in. And if you're not in, tap it again. Keep tapping until you're in, baby.
Keep tapping until we appear. And then we're talking to you.
Then you know you're in the live.
Yeah.
So we do have a little bit more story left. But I think,
I'm a little confused what the blow up, like the initial blow up thing was, but it seems like Tammy is just making mountains out of molehills left and right. And just doesn't seem like a good person to be trying to get support from. Because it seems like OP's multiple times has tried to get support from Tammy, and she seems like the worst person to get that from. So we just need to drop her.
Is not a person built for support. So let's finish this story. Now I'm wondering if I'm the a-hole here. I've had to set boundaries with Tammy multiple times, and she doesn't respect them. She's constantly in a cycle of drama, and it's exhausting. At this point, I feel like I've given her so many chances, but I'm not sure if I can keep doing this.
Don't keep doing it.
Yeah, just don't keep.
No
you're
one's
right.
making you.
You're right.
Yeah.
Note: all change. All the names are changed, of course. Am I wrong for stepping back, or is this just the reality of dealing with someone who's emotionally unstable? Am I the a-hole?
No.
I mean, low key, yeah, it is the reality of dealing with someone who's emotionally unstable.
But that doesn't mean you have to deal with them.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be your reality. It's like you don't just have to be like, well, I guess
this is my lot.
I guess I'm going to have to be this person's like punching bag my whole life because they're emotionally unstable. Guess I got to cut off all my friends because this person's emotionally unstable. It's like
if someone is not,
you don't have to do that.
If someone is not, just being a good friend or is not benefiting your life, and I don't mean that from like giving you things, but like just like emotionally benefiting your life, you don't have to continue being friends with them.
You don't. Or on the same token, if you feel like your friends aren't buying you enough nice things, you also don't have to be friends with them. But also, I would question whether or not your priorities and your morals are straight for doing that.
Might be a little bit out of whack.
but it's great. We live in a world where we're free to do whatever we
Literally
want,
anything.
kind of, within reason.
Mm-hmm. Dang, man, that's the end of that. My best friend decided to sabotage my wedding because her marriage is a failure.
Yikes. Crabs in a bucket.
Some background info about this girl. Let's call her Jess. At this point in her life, she's kind of a hot mess. It rhymes. She's one of those people who airs everything on Facebook, who has a new love of my life every month and a new best friend every few months. Her relationships and friendships usually end terribly, with both sides hating each other. By the way, this comes from Bubble SX1, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit, and maybe we'll read it for you. How did I become her best friend? Well, she hasn't always been this way. She was relatively normal 5 years ago when I met her, save for the normal early 20s drama. But in the last 2 years, she's lost her mom to cancer, oh no, and her grandpa to old age, and she doesn't have any other family. Oof, that's tough, man.
She's in a tight spot.
She dropped out of school and found out her boyfriend at the time was cheating on her. After the breakup, I was acting like a shoulder to cry on since she had pretty much hit rock bottom. A few months later, she was telling everyone how close we were and started tagging me as her best friend. A few months ago, I got engaged.
All right.
Congratulations. Unbeknownst to me, she started telling everyone that she was my maid of honor.
Yeah, because you tagged it on Facebook, remember? That makes her the maid of honor.
Right.
If you
I
go on
tag you
Facebook and tag, say, hey, I'm blank, I am hashtag maid of honor at X wedding, you're automatically the maid of honor.
There you go. Even though I've always planned on making my sister my maid of honor. But this was right after Jess's mom had passed away, so I just improvised and said I would have 2 maid of honors. It's still not what I would have liked, but I literally couldn't bring myself to tell this poor girl I don't consider her my best friend.
Oh, this is your wedding, though. You can do that.
Yeah.
I don't care who's no.
Right.
Take that back.
But that was my first mistake. About a month after I got engaged, she met a guy. 2 weeks later, she was engaged. What? After 2 weeks?
Well, she has to catch up.
Just catch
Because
up.
OP's engaged. She's got to be engaged.
She's got to do it.
How are we? If you're planning a wedding, I'm going to be planning a wedding too.
Good old like last minute assignment.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh, what? A week later, she was married, and a month later, she was divorced. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Oh, but OP says, or separated. I don't know if it's legal yet. I don't know if anything was legal. But I mean, I think at that point you can get an annulment because you don't know each other that
Who
much.
freaking knows?
That long. But she changed her last name and is still going by that, so I'm guessing it was legal. Ever since the divorce, my own wedding planning has become unbearable. She is constantly telling me how marriage doesn't work, love can't save things, etc., etc., and criticizes how much I'm spending on my wedding when she had hers for a few hundred. It was a Vegas wedding. It's gotten to the point where she's rude to the vendors I'm meeting with, but she gets really upset when I don't take her to meetings since she's the maid of honor. So I'm at the point where I just want to cut her out of the wedding like I should have done in the first place. However, when I confessed this to a mutual friend, my friend let me know to be careful because Jess can be really vindictive.
Oh, God.
When she found out her ex from a few years ago was getting married, she tried to contact the bride and tell her that he was cheating on her when he wasn't. One of her last besties was fired from her job because Jess made multiple email accounts and regularly contacted customer service complaining about her. And since she knows so much info about my wedding already, I'm really terrified that she'll somehow try to sabotage it. So basically, I don't know what to do at this point. I feel like this wedding is getting away from me, but I also don't know if it'd be less painful to keep her a part of it because it would save me all the drama. I don't know what she's capable of, so I'm really worried that she'll somehow make everything harder for me if I don't just grin and bear it. Help. And there are some relevant comments, but what would we say
Okay.
to help?
You got to fight fire with this
Okay.
girl. You got to find someone that has your back,
Yeah.
but is also equally as petty as this girl, as
Ooh.
Jess.
Yeah.
And then they just go after it. Anything she
Yeah.
tries to do to you, your friend has your back and does it right
And
back
just
to her.
like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
you
what
just
I
gotta
think.
find someone that's like that then.
Yeah.
I just gotta get you on the phone.
Me?
Would you be able to do that?
I don't know, man. If I didn't care about this person's feelings, I probably would.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just tell me more bad things
That
about
is
Jess, and
hard.
I think I could.
But there are some relevant comments. So Unicorn Death Race says, to add, it might be a good idea to have passwords with your vendors to confirm your identity. OP says, thank you for the advice. I was actually considering the passwords thing, but I don't know if I was taking things too far. I guess I'm kind of worried about vendors resenting me for being high maintenance, but I hear about bridezillas, momzillas, in-lawzillas all the time. So hopefully this isn't the worst they've seen. Jiggle Daddy Dawkins says, Jesus, just tell her, Jess, you knew him for 3 weeks before you married him. What in the ever-loving F did you think was going to happen? I've only been seeing a girl for 3 weeks. I won't even poop with her in a half-mile radius. OP responds, seriously, the week before the wedding was everyone kindly saying, are you sure? You've known him an awfully short time. And her responding, everyone's just jealous because they can't be us. Yeah. Angelo Papas says, sounds like you need to have a very uncomfortable talk with this girl. Tell her what you told us here and let her know her negative attitude has no place in planning your wedding. You're sorry things aren't working out for her, but she's not allowed to pile this stuff on you. Tell her that you cannot have her as a maid of honor, and since she seems to think so negatively about marriage, you wouldn't expect her to do this. Up to you if you even let her attend the wedding as a guest. OP says, oh my God, I haven't even thought about explaining how her negative attitude towards marriage could be the excuse for not having her in the wedding party. See, right? There you go. You need to heal separately. That sounds ridiculously logical, but I've been blinded by a flurry of crazy. Thank you. And there is an update.
Michael Phelps it.
What? Just what?
Just dive right in.
I don't
Just
understand.
Dive right in.
Sports references.
Michael Phelps, like the 12x gold medalist for swimming.
For swimming. You dive right into the water. Yeah, I know. I knew that. I knew that.
Where do we find you? How do you not know that?
I knew exactly what you were talking about the whole time. I don't know what you're talking about. But there is an update. Let's get into it. Guys, this went full-blown crazy. Before I could have a conversation with Jess, she confronted me about it. Apparently, the mutual I confided in let the whole story leak, and a twisted, more dramatic version made its way back to Jess. Shoot. It was an hour or two of me trying to explain to Jess in a somewhat calm manner that I felt she had overstepped her boundaries, and it was really taking a mental toll on me while she yelled about what a terrible friend I was and how she's tired of putting all her faith in the wrong people and how she was tired of trying her best to be a good maid of honor. I made the mistake of pointing out that I never asked her to be my maid of honor in the first place, and she responded with, well, then I must be delusional. The first step is admitting you have a problem. Right? So progress. Needless to say, we aren't on speaking terms. Shortly after that, I took all of your advice and called all of my wedding vendors and let them know that my fiance and I were going to be the only people making any decisions and set up a confirmation word with them. Apparently, this crap happens a lot because nobody even asked why. That's interesting. I didn't know that. I accidentally forgot to contact the bakery making our cake, but luckily they called me and asked if I was certain I wanted to cancel the wedding cake. Apparently, there was a voicemail left on their machine. Wonder how that happened. Wow, so she was right that was exactly what she would do. And here's where things really get nuts. It's not already nuts already?
It's progressed.
Oh my gosh, man. I don't even know what's gonna happen. What would your guess be?
What is she about to do?
Yeah.
I don't know. She's trying to get people. Because what I'm thinking is she's going to try and set up being like, oh yeah, OP's been cheating on you forever.
Yeah.
She's already called the vendors. I honestly don't know what she's about to do.
Here's my prediction. I think the wedding's going to happen. Okay. They're going to be in the middle of the vows. All right. And then they're like right about to say I do, leaning in for the smooch, and then she's gonna break open the chapel doors and be like, stop the wedding, while she's wearing a wedding dress, and then she's gonna go on some story, and yeah, and then it's gonna be a whole thing. That's what I'm imagining.
I hope not. I hope not.
A few weeks after our blow up, she apparently met some guy who is the love of her life. A few weeks after that, they're engaged. I can't make this crap up. She did it again. Then our mutual friends get invitations for her wedding, which is the same date as mine. But since they'd RSVP'd for my wedding, a lot of them couldn't make it. A few days before her wedding, they have to cancel because he's already married. Oh my gosh. Wow. What a mess.
Turns out he's already married. So
he's already married. Can't do that. Oh man.
They go to check the records and they're like, sir, it looks like you're married
You're
here.
currently legally married.
He's like, oh yeah, sorry,
Like,
I can't do it.
I forgot about that. Forgot about that prior engagement. And you know what? So is she. What?
So she got her records checking, like, oh, apparently I am too.
Yeah. I guess she never got officially divorced from that first quickie wedding. So as far as I know, no wedding actually happened. I have no idea if they still plan to. I'm just glad to be away from the circus. But so far as I know, you can listen to episodes with stories just like this. Just go to your favorite podcast app, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever you prefer, and search up OK Storytime. And we could find more circuses just like this one. There is a little bit more to the story, but shall we unpack a tiny bit?
This girl's crazy.
Crazy.
That's all I got.
Yeah, that's just
Glad it wasn't
wild.
worse.
Entertaining at the very least.
Yeah, I just hope it doesn't get worse.
Yeah, I'm very glad that she's at least out of your wedding party.
Yeah.
I think that was the best decision for you long term. It's just a messy little ending, but let's see if it gets even messier.
Oh God.
But anyways, I got married a few weeks ago. Everything was wonderful. The weather was great, and everyone present was a joy to be around, except maybe my uncle, who gets a little too dancy when he's wasted, but you know, family. Thank you to everyone who responded, and to everyone letting me know that I'm not helping matters by going with the flow. I will be actively practicing caution when making friends by running from crazy and not comforting it. And there is one last relevant comment here. Jaruro says, anyone else think the mutual friend is kind of crappy? She was the one who told OP to be careful about Jess, yet she decided it would be a good idea to blab about what OP told her, knowing full well it would get back to Jess. Now, instead of telling Jess on her own terms, OP got ambushed instead. That's a good point.
Wow.
I've totally brushed past that, but
crap.
that's true. OP responds, I actually asked her about it a few days after the blow up. Her defense was that she didn't actually tell Jess. She told another mutual friend of ours who told someone else, who told someone else, who told Jess. So technically it wasn't her fault, which is how by the time it got to Jess, the story was somewhere along the lines of, oh my gosh, Bubbles SX1 is telling everyone you're ruining her life and sabotaging the wedding. All of us met at work. We all worked at the same restaurant long ago, and it was always a drama-filled place. A lot of the same people still work there and still thrive off of the drama. I'm thinking it's time for me to move on from that specific crowd. Cliques are fun in middle school, but in your 20s, not so much. But that is the end of the story.
If you want more stories like this, search for our podcast, OK Storytime, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
My friend's wife is overly controlling with her vegan rules. It ruined our friendship.
Lack of meat led to lack of friendship.
I know I'm partially at fault for the friendship ending, and I'm willing to accept my judgment, and it's really long. Sorry. In November of last year, I, female, went to visit a friend, we'll call him Kevin, and stayed at his and his wife's house. Early last year, Kevin and his wife, we'll call her Karen, moved a couple of states away. By the way, this comes from Absent-Minded Author, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. So for context, we're all over the age of 35, and Kevin and I were part of a friend group from an old job. Another couple from the friend group went on this trip as well. We have read the other perspective of this. I bet you 100%.
No way.
I remember because in that story, you guys might remember, they're like we want to know where the cow comes from, or like whatever. Like we want to know where our meat comes from. I could be very wrong, but it feel like we've read the other side of this.
And they were thinking that stuff like on the vacation? Like I want to know where the meat comes from on the vacation?
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah, I could be very wrong, but we'll keep going. Another couple from the friend group went on this trip as well, but they were also visiting family and stayed with them. Prior to the move, our friend group didn't really have much interaction with Karen, as she didn't really come to spend time with us. She was always invited, but rarely joined. They never hosted us at their old house. They are vegan. I am not. Well, Kevin is not a full-fledged vegan. He eats fish. However, his wife does the grocery shopping, so everything outside of fish is vegan, and he eats/drinks it. He buys his own fish and has a mini kitchen to prepare his meals away from hers. For even more context, Karen is not a vegan for health reasons. She is the type that brings up their vegan status with every conversation, no matter how irrelevant it is to the topic. makes fun of people that eat meat or use things made with animal byproducts, accuses people of passing away animals, etc., except she leaves Kevin alone. She calls any food that's not vegan trash and garbage. Example, when we would hang out before they moved and she was there, she would ask how people could eat such garbage anytime any of us would have meat. It was really annoying, but I never got confrontational with her about it. Yeah, so
That
we have
sounds so annoying.
we have CrossFit people that never stop talking about CrossFit, and then her.
And there you go.
Yeah.
God, that's just so annoying.
Golly, dude.
I don't know. I respect veganism. I personally am not vegan. I love meat and I don't like vegetables. And
Well,
it's a circle of life, baby.
I think about any type of lifestyle that people don't do or are not accustomed to.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Just stop talking about it or
or
putting
shame.
down other people because of their lifestyles.
Exactly.
That's where I'm
exactly.
like,
Yeah. Right. Like, how could it be gross when it's like, this
No.
is just nature, dude?
and you can like mention things about other people's lifestyles if you think it's harming them.
Yeah.
Like, hey, probably lay off the Coke. Probably lay off the Coca-Cola, Uncle Jeff, Like,
Right.
He
Right.
doesn't need to be doing that. You can say that.
Absolutely. This is too far.
What? Girl,
Yeah. Come on now.
chill out. The day before I visit them, Karen sent a short list of rules that I had to follow regarding food. One of those rules that I couldn't store any non-vegan items in their kitchen. I did ask if I could bring milk. She agreed, but I had to keep it in the fish fridge. All the food I ate at their house tasted off, even the breakfast waffles, and then the tuna casserole that Kevin made for the two of us Saturday afternoon for lunch. It was not like it tasted spoiled, it was just off. Weird. A little gross. I've never eaten vegan, so I wonder if it was just that food made with vegan ingredients. I couldn't really eat anything after a few bites. I had, fortunately, packed a few protein, non-vegan snacks that I kept in my room inside a zipper canvas bag at the bottom of my suitcase. I was not specifically prohibited from bringing snacks to keep in my room. I kept my trash and disposed of it after I left. I did eat some street food from the market I, Kevin, and our friends went to Saturday after lunch and ate like a horse at a restaurant we went to that Saturday night, and I am not ashamed. My husband and I are supposed to be going to visit them this weekend, and Karen called me a couple hours ago. She wanted to tell me that I wouldn't be allowed to bring any milk this time around because it got into her lettuce. Apparently, she had gone through my suitcase when Kevin and I, friends, were out at the market and found my snacks. In addition to that, she told me that she replaced my milk with almond milk and thought that was just hilarious. I drank some milk Friday night before going to bed and one glass on Saturday morning, and then Kevin told me he used to make our waffles and told me to leave the rest of it for casserole at lunch.
I would lose my mind. Listen, I'm someone that has honestly primarily meat and carbs diet. It's not very balanced.
Yeah, this girl
whatsoever.
only eats pork and
like
bread
noodles
and
basically.
noodles. Yeah.
That's like it. So if this it's not good, but like if this happened, man, I would have an issue.
Holy cow.
I would have an issue with this person.
I'd be like, oh yeah, we're on our way. And then I would say, honey, stop at the store. We got to get some milk.
yeah,
And I would
We
just
gotta get
spill
some
milk
milk.
everywhere.
spill milk everywhere. I
Get
like
it as warm as I could and spill it everywhere.
spill it everywhere. Pour it in their pillow.
Just like
Shake it up.
in their kitchen. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
because what? They're on vacation though, aren't they? Like
Yeah.
they're on vacation and suddenly they have to be vegan too, and they're going through your suitcase. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Ooh, okay. So then Kevin told me he used it to make our waffles and wanted to save the rest of it for casserole at lunch. What actually happened was after that, I poured my glass Saturday morning before breakfast. Karen dumped the rest of it out and replaced it with almond milk.
Oh my
Kevin
gosh.
knew about it, but didn't tell me. I never went to look for it because he said he wanted to save it. The waffles and casserole were made with almond milk. No wonder they tasted a little off. I was so mad that I knew I wouldn't be able to say anything nice. I told her I had another call coming in and hung up. After I calmed down, I called her back to ask her why she went through my suitcase and why she dumped my milk. She told me that it was her house and she had a right to know. So that's why she was allowed to go through my things. She said that she dumped my milk because nobody can tell the difference between cow's milk and almond's milk, and that I wouldn't have known if she hadn't told me. I would have known. I would have known the second I drank it. I know the difference between tap water and fridge water. I called her a controlling, self-centered freak. week and told her that Kevin has a stash of real cheese hidden in the fish fridge that he sneaks into his food and hung up on her. Then I called Tevin and he sided with her and told me that I pushed the line when I asked her to bring milk and that it was incredibly rude to order meat when we went to dinner. We argued and I told him that it seems our lives are going in different directions and that we don't need to be friends anymore. I know I probably should have asked if it was okay to have non-vegan snacks in my room, or I could have kept them in my car. I also shouldn't have called her names. I was a guest at their house and Kevin has me half convinced that as a guest, I should have had respected Karen's veganism and not had my non-vegan food at all. My husband thinks they're completely in the wrong and that since their lifestyle is not one the majority of the population follows, they should have made exceptions since Kevin gets a fish exception.
There you go.
He's also as pissed as I am that she went through my stuff, and he also pointed out that if I was allergic to almonds, I could have gotten very ill. He says that I'm better off, and thanks, ending the friendship was reasonable. He and Kevin got along, but just like Karen, my husband is the spouse of someone in the friend group, so they weren't really close. A few minutes ago, I got the, hey, can we talk text? And honestly, I don't know if I'm going to respond. I'm just kind of done with it. Edit,
Yeah.
I'm sorry if I can't respond to all your comments. Just know I'm reading them. I'm calling Kevin on my lunch break today, and will post an update after since so many have asked for one. An update.
Oh,
I don't know, man. I don't think I could be around this crazy lady. If I knew this crazy lady did that to me, I will be like, ugh.
Yeah, I absolutely could not. It truly is lighting a fire inside of me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay at your house. You're gonna go through my stuff because I have a protein bar that has, I don't know, milk in it or something, or I don't know what's
deadly, non-vegan milk.
Yeah.
Get rid of it.
I have no more words
Yeah.
and so many emotions.
Same.
That's absolutely insane. Insane.
Update. I wanted to clarify that the bag Karen found in my suitcase had emergency cash and a credit card in it as well as snacks. The reason it was hidden in my suitcase was to keep it safe, not to hide food. I wasn't sneaking it in important later, but I did have protein bars in there just in case I took issue with their food. Naughty me. I responded to Kevin yesterday and told him I needed some time to think and I'd get back to him today. I took some of your advice and reached out to our friend group last night. After the group chat and also talking just with the friends that were down that weekend, I learned some things. Long story short, out of our core group of 6, I'm the only one that kept up with Kevin. The only reason those 2 friends accepted Kevin's invitation to go down that weekend was because I was going.
Ooh.
Visiting family was a bonus.
Boom.
After I took the rest of the night to think about it and sleep on it, I realized that all of you are right about Kevin's complacency regarding the switching of the milk. I didn't pay as much attention as I should have because I was so focused on the fact that Karen switched the milk to begin with. I also realized he never actually said anything in response to my telling that Karen confessed to going through my stuff when I called him yesterday. He had changed the subject instead, talking about how rude I was to ask to bring milk. Anyway, I called Kevin on my lunch break today and ran down the list of issues. Karen going through my suitcase, him not telling me about the milk switch, Karen switching the milk to begin with after telling me I could bring it, and how what I eat is none of their business as long as I'm not contaminating their food.
Exactly.
Basically, he told me the only thing he would apologize for was saying that it was rude to order non-vegan food at the restaurant. He said that since they had plenty of food in the house for me to eat, he didn't have to apologize for anything. Apparently, Karen had told him not to tell me about the milk switch because she was trying to prove that I couldn't tell the difference between vegan and non-vegan food. Essentially the same thing she said to me yesterday. I told him that since I didn't eat any of it except a few bites, clearly I could tell the difference. He also said that he was eventually going to tell me about it, but forgot. I said that she could have said no when I asked to bring milk, but instead of being a swampy butthole about it. He said that although he didn't agree with Karen going through my things, I wasn't owed an apology because I broke the rules by sneaking meat into their house. There was a meat stick in that canvas bag. I told him that I had been told I couldn't have non-vegan food in both kitchens and that it was just left over from my drive to their house. As long as I didn't switch it with their food like a certain someone had, I hadn't done anything wrong. The last thing he told me was that the other reason I wasn't getting an apology from him was because after I told Karen about his cheese stash yesterday afternoon, she unplugged his fish fridge. He didn't get home from work until late, and according to his Google search, all the refrigerated fish had to be thrown away. This was apparently my fault.
No, this
No,
is
she's
absolutely
just
her fault.
Batshit crazy.
Like,
Oh.
actually insane. I really worry for her kids. Her kids are going to have a very
Oh, her pets. Her
difficult.
pets too.
Yeah,
She's
well,
going to deny meat from them.
yeah. Yeah. But like, her kids are going to grow up with such a complicated relationship to food, and that never ends up well.
Golly.
Oh my goodness. This is like actually insane. Everyone needs to get away from this woman.
Yep.
What is a meat stick in a suitcase gonna do?
Yeah. Calm the flip down, girl.
Yeah.
Golly.
Oh my goodness. But there's still more, is there?
There is more. He said that we're even now.
Oh my
He
God.
didn't. Now he's being a baby. Oh my gosh. He
Yeah.
didn't even tell me about the milk switch, and I snitched about his cheese. I tried explaining that we weren't the same thing and that I wasn't responsible for what she did and that he didn't care. And he said he knew I wasn't allergic to nuts. I don't even remember discussing that with him, but whatever. And we can discuss more stories just like this on your favorite podcast platform. Just search up OK Storytime on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen for more crazy stories just like these. Like, dude.
Oh my gosh.
That's what you get, dude. That's what you get for switching milk. You get no fish.
But you know, maybe Kevin's not the guy to stay around either, because apparently he keeps score of food crimes here.
Ooh,
So
yep.
that's not
Food
someone
police.
you want to be around. A
No.
grown man that keeps score and cares about being even with cheese.
Yeah, I say cut friendship, tell the group chat, and be done with Kevin.
Yeah.
And their crazy
Expose
vegan
their
food.
booties.
I asked if he truly believed that I didn't deserve any apologies from either of them. He said yes. I told him that if he couldn't see what they did was wrong and apologize, I couldn't help him, and to give me a call when he got his balls back from his wife. He hung up on me. Yesterday, I thought I owed him an apology because I was wrong. I thought if I gave him one, we could maintain a friendship. Today, I think that the problem was that I was holding on to something that didn't exist anymore. So you guys reality checked me. I ignored all of the things and gaslit myself. So thank you to everyone for the smack to the back of the head. Everybody should have people like you in their lives. Thanks for reading.
If you want more stories like this, search for our podcast, OK Storytime, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
My best friend is cheating on her husband, and I'm planning on telling him.
There we go.
Yes. One of my 38 female best friends, 41 female Rachel, has been married for about 8 years to her second husband, 41 male Eric. We became friends around the time she divorced her first husband due to an emotional affair. Ooh. She was very big on cheating being a hard no, and I supported her in her divorce. By the way, this comes from throwaway 1376 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. Over the years, I've gotten to be good friends with her current husband, and we share a lot of common interests and have always been able to carry on a good conversation. We don't hang out one-on-one, but occasionally we'll message each other about current media that Rachel doesn't share a passion for. The two have 4 kids together. Recently, Rachel and I had a girls' outing, which doesn't happen often between conflicting schedules, and her having 4 kids under the age of 8. While we were out, she confesses to me that she had been cheating on Eric since early this year. Oh my gosh.
What? After you divorce someone for emotional cheating?
Yeah, being a hard no.
Interesting.
Oh my goodness. There were multiple men, but the current one she seemed to be really close with and in a sort of honeymoon phase with. She has been on hard substances at certain points, but was supposedly clean now. At minimum, he seems to have a booze problem, but based on some of what I saw, I suspect hard substances might still be involved. There was a ton of incriminating evidence about their relationship on her phone and social media, but she did not think Eric would ever check that. She said Eric wasn't meeting her emotional needs, and that was why she started seeing other men. Eric has struggled with Mary Jane use and no hard substances and booze in the past, but is working on overcoming some past trauma that I will not go into detail on. But it is entirely justifiable to have spiraled for a bit. He is in therapy now, and from my perspective has come a long way. I respect if Rachel is feeling underappreciated and think that's very valid, but the stretch to cheating seems like overkill to me, especially when this is physical and she divorced over an emotional affair.
Yep.
And it's physical, but she said that she did it because she was lacking emotions from her current one. Make it make
so
sense.
Flip flop.
Come on. I promised not to tell Eric, but I was feeling conflicted about it. On the one hand, I support my friend and her feelings are valid, but I don't condone cheating either, and Eric is also someone I consider a friend. In the end, I chose to stay out of it and let her make her own decisions, even if I don't agree with them. Telling him would have been a nuke on my friendship with Rachel, who outside of this situation has always been an amazing and supportive friend that I have been through a lot together with. I told her to call me if she ever wanted to talk things through, since she was considering leaving Eric for the new guy. I don't remember his name or age, let's just call him John. This was about 6 months ago. We met up again shortly after that, but other than that, we have not seen each other in person since. We have texted occasionally, but both of us have been busy, and despite my offer, I've never heard about the John again. I could tell from social media, though, that they were still seeing each other. About 3 weeks ago, I saw a few posts from Eric on social media, different platform from the one she regularly uses and interacts with the John on. Eric is only really active on one, indicating he was going through something. Ooh, so Eric was going through something and telling everyone on Instagram or something.
Yeah.
Social media. My radar was going off already, and when I saw the comments, there were things from the other friends and family implying things like, you'll find love again, and you need to move on and get that waste out of your life. Oh man.
Goodness gracious.
I assume she either told him or he figured it out himself. He's not stupid, but not chronically online enough to see how obvious it was to me. Honestly, I suspected her cheating before she told me because I saw their interactions on SM. I reached out to Rachel the next day. I never put anything in text to her about the affair just to stay out of it in case he looked at her phone, but just asked if there was something going on between her and Eric based on his posts. She responded that yes, there was, but it was complicated and she was too tired physically and emotionally to go into detail. I wonder why she's tired physically. No problem. She said she would call me in the next few days. When she did call, I was sick and sleeping and I got no answer when I called her back. I sent her a message and just asked her to call me next time she was feeling up to it, but she left me on red. I wanted to reach out to Eric too because he can be very emotional, and while I know he may not want to talk to me depending on what he knows, I wanted to offer some support for him if he needed someone to talk to. But I wanted to talk to Rachel first. I didn't know what he knew or if I could accidentally make it worse. Does he know how long it's been happening? Does he know it's multiple men? Does he even know she cheated at all? She could have just told him that she wasn't happy and was leaving. I didn't want to make the situation worse by saying something I shouldn't, whether I think he deserves to know the truth or not. She did not call back, and I left it alone for a bit because I didn't want to press her into what will probably be an emotional conversation. After about a week and a half, I tried calling again and sent another message saying to call me when she was ready. I got left on red again.
What? She knows.
She knows.
She knows she's about to be confronted. And
she doesn't want to have
it.
that conversation.
Nope.
I should point out that getting left on red by Rachel is not normal. Maybe if she is working, but she almost always responds within 24 hours if I call or text. I tried texting again today around 9 a.m. just asking how she was doing, and it's still unread. At this point, I'm genuinely worried about my friend. I know she's physically okay based on the continued social media posts, but I'm worried about her mental state. Wow, so she's posting on social media and then not responding. Dang.
Oh.
Dang. I also still want to reach out to Eric and see how he is doing as a friend. And if he rejects it because he knows I knew, I'm willing to accept that and apologize and never contact him again if that's what he wants. But I do care about him and want to offer support if he needs it. So would I be the a-hole if I reach out to Eric before getting the opportunity to talk to Rachel? I'd be conscious in my interaction about revealing anything, but it also feels like an overstep to have a conversation with him before Rachel. But it's also been 3 weeks and I haven't heard anything from Rachel and I'm genuinely worried on her behalf. And if Eric is going through it because he found out, I want him to know that he still has a friend in me if he wants it. And admittedly, after 3 weeks, I want the tea. And there is an update, but what's our answer? Would she be the a-hole if she told him?
Absolutely not. I think ultimatums are only good for this scenario. They're probably for other scenarios.
For like
but
cheating, like you have to do this or else I will?
Yeah, anytime I would ever get a whiff of cheating from
Yeah.
any one of my friends, or anyone, I think just friends, I
Yeah.
would be like, all right, you're going to have to tell them or I'm going to.
Yeah, especially if you knew the partner. I think if I didn't know the partner, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
I don't know what to do about that. But yeah, I don't think it'd be the a-hole. It seems like you're going about this in a really good way. And thinking about everyone's best interests, keeping that in mind.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Eric seems like a good guy, and he's, I don't know.
But there is an update. So Edit thanks everyone for the responses. I accept I would be the a-hole in this situation and will leave it alone. Just to address a couple things. I have zero interest in Eric. I am happily married, and even if I wasn't, Eric is not someone I would have any romantic interest in. A lot of you are saying I am complicit in her cheating. I respect that opinion, but I did give Rachel a pretty stern earful when she first told me. I was hoping that she would eventually end it on her own and come clean, but that doesn't seem to be the case. I'll be reevaluating our friendship when or if I can hear the full story from her. This post was long enough without going into all of the details about why she was unhappy in her marriage, and I do still think that she has valid reasons as to why she was unhappy, but those do not justify cheating. I did tell her that if she was that unhappy, she should end things or come clean and get into couples therapy. A lot of you are saying that she is likely on substances herself since she's dating these guys. I have known Rachel for a long time, and I highly doubt this is the case. Rachel barely drinks and has never smoked. She has a history of dating guys well before Eric. However, they have those tendencies. She tends to be pretty blind to people's bad behavior until it's literally in her face. And you know what else is literally in your face? The fact that there are more full episodes with stories just like these on all of your favorite podcasts app. Just search Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever you may choose, and search OK Storytime.
Yep.
But there is more to the story. Do we have any other final thoughts before moving on?
I think it's time for you to move on, OP.
Yeah. I think some people have bad reactions to people that like harshly like react to stuff like this. Like I think when she was confiding in her friend about this, she wanted more of like a caring ear of like, okay, let's see what we actually can do about this rather than just her bashing on her. Which I think is fair, but I think it is also fair that like OP would have this reaction. You can't really stop someone from having that reaction. But I think I'm going to guess that that's probably what's happening is since she got that, she knows or feels that like if she had a conversation again with OP, then it would just be her bashing on it. And it's like, that's not going to help, you know, because she probably knew, you know, if she was telling her OP about this, then maybe she was already like, hey, this is a problem, needs to be addressed. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
But there is more to the story. OP continues addressing the comments, mentioning wanting the tea was a bad attempt at humor. I want to know what's going on in my friends' lives, not to gossip about it, but to support them. But out of respect for the you're the a-hole vote, I'm going to leave it alone and let Rachel come to me when she's ready. I hope they're working it out. I have no doubt that Eric at least will make sure that the kids get into therapy if they do separate. Some of the feedback was harsh, but I appreciate it nonetheless. Thanks to everyone who responded. But that is the end of that story.
My friend treated my wedding like a waste of time, so I told her her friendship was a waste of my time.
Boom! Roasted.
My maid of honor was my best friend of close to 20 years. Wow. We were very close. She was in the delivery room when my son was born.
Whoa.
I introduced her to her boyfriend of over 20 years now. So it was a no-brainer when I got engaged that she would be my maid of honor in my wedding. By the way, this comes from After Tower 1277 on the OK Storytime subreddit. So we had always talked about being each other's maid of honor. The only problem is her boyfriend never wants to get married, and I think that might be where this all stems from.
Oh, no.
I always second to her in lots of things, especially when it came to boys. But nonetheless, here I was, engaged, the love of my life, and so happy. So let's jump to wedding planning and all the things leading up to the big day. She didn't attend dress shopping day with the wedding party. I had to go with her a different day to show her the dress the girls would be wearing. I got phone calls for weeks from the dress shop after the dresses came in, saying she hadn't picked her dress up yet. This would play an important piece later. She dropped by the shop every day to work. I had to beg her to go in and get the dress. I made almost all of my decorations for my wedding and had a few girls' nights with my wedding party to help with things. I always invited her to join us, but she never had the time to do so, though it was no biggie. When it came to my wedding shower, she didn't have the time again to really plan it, so my mother, sister, and bridesmaids stepped in and did the work. She was even late to the shower. She didn't want to plan my bachelorette party either, so again, my bridesmaids stepped in to do it.
Dang.
I mean, she literally said she wanted to be your maid of honor, and now she's kind of
second, not first.
Yeah.
Because she wanted to get married first. She wanted to do all these things first.
That's the thing. She's jealous. We had a 2-day event with the first night going to one of the girls' houses and just having a girls' night. She showed up to this part of it, and while there, whispered loud enough to my sister sister so I could hear she was pregnant. I pretended not to hear because I felt it was weird she was telling my sister and not me. I had celebrated with her first pregnancy and threw her a baby shower and loved her daughter, so I don't know why she was being secretive about telling me. She didn't stay too long the first night of events and didn't attend the next day when we went to the lake. She's for sure jealous.
Yeah.
After the bachelorette trip, I didn't hear from her, but one time leading up to wedding week when she finally told me she was pregnant.
Oh, wow.
I told her it was wonderful news and I was overjoyed for her. This brings us up to wedding week.
Don't hand her a mic.
No.
Don't hand her a
No,
mic.
no. The week of my wedding started with disaster. I was bit by a brown recluse spider. Oh my God. And had a horrible reaction to it. Oh my God. Did you turn into Spider-Man right before your wedding? I was admitted to the hospital and was kept there for 2 days. That is very scary and unfortunate.
Golly.
I was in panic mode. This was not how I imagined wedding week going. I text my maid of honor to tell her what was happening and how I had a list of things I was supposed to be doing at that moment, but couldn't because I was in the hospital. Her response to me was, "Oh, I'm sure you'll get them done." I was taken back a little. I thought maybe she was finally going to step up and offer to help me some, but she didn't. I was even 10 minutes away from where she lived and she never came to see me.
Oh my gosh.
I did finally convince my doctor to release me so I could get back to wedding week. The night of rehearsals is when I finally had enough. She was late to rehearsal and when there, barely spoke to me. She did tell my mom how she hadn't tried her dress on at all since she picked it up from the shop. My mom was shocked but didn't want to tell me, so instructed her she needed to try it on immediately when she got home. She, at this point, was noticeably pregnant and wasn't when she ordered it, so my mom was worried about it fitting. So after everyone left, I was with my sisters and another bridesmaid who were all staying at my house when my sister informs me of the conversation my maid of honor had with my mom and how my sister just got a text from my maid of honor stating that not only had she not tried the dress on, she never even looked in the bag.
Oh my gosh.
What is, I mean, like, at this point, if you're so uninterested in being the maid of honor, say, hey, I can't do this.
Yeah.
Like months, like, why are you still?
Yeah. MVP players don't become MVP without playing.
Exactly. It was the wrong dress. I was so angry. I don't understand how someone doesn't even look at the dress one time leading up to the event. My sister told me not to worry. She would do the communicating with the maid of honor. I decided at that moment she would not be in the wedding if she didn't get the right dress. Wedding morning comes and she's texting me asking what she needs to do about the dress and what shoes she's supposed to buy for the wedding. On the morning of the wedding? Was she going to just drop by Nordstrom Rack that day?
Probably.
I gave the phone to my sister and asked her to handle it, that I couldn't stress about my maid of honor anymore on my wedding day. Well, she got lucky and the dress shop had her dress still and she made it to the salon hours after everyone else.
Oh my gosh.
Ay, ay, ay. I was still upset, so I kept my distance. My wedding party had the choice to pay to get their hair done or we could do their hair for them. She said she would do her own hair, but changed her mind at the last second and asked the girl at the salon to do her hair, knowing she had no money on her. This I didn't know until a month later. So one of my bridesmaids' moms paid for her hair and she promised to pay them back.
Oh no.
I doubt she will. I don't like her.
No, absolutely
She's a bad friend.
not, dude.
But you know who I do like? Us. And I like when you guys join us live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST on YouTube. Just tap her profile.
Tippity tap tap.
And there is a little bit left, but
What the heck? What is wrong with this woman?
What's going
The
on here?
entitlement.
Absolute entitlement. I mean, like, just be there for your friend. Or
Yeah.
tell her that you can't be.
I know that OP is going to look back at their friendship
Yeah.
and realize
She was putting a lot more effort in.
all of the things that they did were on her friend's timing, not hers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But there is a little bit left to the story. Well, you can guess. The ninth goes by and my bridesmaid told me what happened and how she hasn't gotten the money back yet. I text my maid of honor for the first time since the wedding, asking her about the hair situation and if she was planning on paying the other girl back. She said she was, but was waiting to give it to me, and I said she had plenty of time to do that. She said she didn't know when I was back or if I was back from my honeymoon yet. I told her that was ridiculous, that she knows I could never afford to be on a month-long honeymoon. I'm a mom and a teacher. She told me I was ridiculous and she would get me the money. 2 weeks later, and I was still asking for it. I finally told her how I felt about her attitude the whole wedding. She told me I made her feel like crap the day of the wedding. Good. You should feel like crap. You literally were stressing her out because you couldn't get your dress and your shoes in order.
Ugh.
And didn't help her at all. And I didn't know how hard she worked on my wedding. You didn't work
do
on the wedding
anything.
at all.
Come on.
I told her I needed a break from our friendship and haven't spoken to her since. Did I overreact or am I justified for cutting her off? You're justified.
Oh yeah.
She wasn't doing anything for you.
At all.
And then she was blaming you for it. Just totally unfair.
That's the end of that
And that
story.
is the end of that story. My friend bullied my kids and refuses to take accountability.
Bring bullies back.
What? I, 37 female, and my friend, Anne, 57 female, have known each other for roughly 12 years. For the first part of the friendship, we were working friends, and later had the occasional outing on a weekend. We lost contact in 2017 while I was pregnant with my first child, 6 male, and didn't regain contact until fall of 2021. By the way, this comes from Soul Delight on the OK Storytime subreddit. So Anne has always been outspoken and very opinionated. She's very much a my way or no way type person. This trait can often make you feel like you have to walk on eggshells to be around her. Even if you can prove her opinion incorrect, she will still ignore it and say something along the lines of, I've done it this long and it hasn't hurt me yet. Well, maybe it's hurting other people around you.
Yeah, you ever think about that?
Do we think about that? Do we think about anything other than ourselves?
Doesn't sound like it.
I've also never heard her apologize for anything at all, ever.
Oh my gosh.
Over the last 3 years, she's been a good friend in the sense that she actively tries to find outings for us to go on, and it's generally fun to be around. Okay. There has been a lot of memories made on road trips, beach days, and dinners together. She seeks out holiday activities for my kids and has taken on an aunt-like role in their lives. I really value this side of our friendship. Last winter, we had made plans to take the kids for a picture with Santa. Kids were 4 female and 5 male at the time. It was a rainy, gross day, and I fall victim to bad migraines in this type of weather. Anne asked if we could go to Costco prior to going to a large mall in my town for the pictures.
Nice.
Gotta go to Costco.
Gotta
do a
get those
Costco
groceries.
trip. We spent over 2 hours in Costco, landing us at the mall at Santa rush hour. The line was huge, and we ended up waiting around 45 minutes for our turn. I paid for a picture of just the kids. She paid for a picture of all 4 of us. Through this time, I've told her multiple times that my head was hurting really bad, and I need to wrap this up quickly. Anne asked if we had time to go to Walmart since it was in the mall, and she only needed a couple of things. The kids were over it already, but I tried to muscle through it and carry on. It ended up being an extended visit, sauntering around with no sense of urgency at all.
0%
This would
consideration.
drive me crazy.
Oh yeah, I know how impatient you are. You would not like this at all.
If I'm not feeling good and we're just walking around, I'd be like,
Sophia's the worst person when she's not feeling well.
it's true. I admit that.
It's really tough.
I try to forewarn people.
You're like, I'm gonna be in a bad mood starting now.
Yeah. I know. I just like, if I'm tired, guys, I'm not going to get a lot of sleep, not going to be in a good mood.
This is true. That's why we have to feed her like 5 times a day and give her like 10 hours of sleep.
Yeah. The kids and I were progressively getting more and more frustrated. She decided we needed to go get prints of the Santa pictures, which ended up being a big photo dump from her phone's camera roll. I reminded her again that I'm barely holding on and needed to go. She said she would pay for the pictures and I could go wait in the car.
Nice.
But guilt tripped me after she said it for agreeing with her. It was enough to make me really angry.
Oh no.
I told her as much, then went to the car and cried.
Oh.
Ouch. To this day, I have not seen any of those pictures, including my kids' Santa pictures that I paid for.
Oh, dang.
This and one other very similar incident are the only 2 times I outwardly showed her that I was aggravated by her behavior. On Halloween, Anne has embedded herself in our plans for the last couple of years. This year, she wanted everyone to go as killer clowns from outer space. She let my kids watch it on a sleepover. I had never seen it. Now that I have, I don't like it at all. My son originally loved the idea, but really wanted to be Deadpool. My daughter did not want to be a clown. She's very girly. She loves fancy dresses and flashy things. When Anne realized no one really liked her idea, she became very mute about Halloween. I messaged asking if she was still coming at noon Halloween day. I'll recount the rest in the text below, except the fact that when I called from her driveway, she told me the neighbors had already left, she wasn't coming, and my response was poor. Are you effing kidding me? Blurted out, and I hung up. This being the only time I have ever hung up on her. From here, I'm going to include verbatim, except for names, 2 longer text messages that I'd like input on. I don't know if I should end this friendship or try to fix it. My message to Anne. Thursday, you asked to give up your spot so Jen could come. I very clearly responded that there was enough room for everyone. I would have expected that point for common sense to kick in and state that they're welcome to come, as room for everyone is pretty direct. I then responded that it wasn't an option to go or not, even though I'm sick, and that I wanted to be out between 5:30 and 6. As stated, I messaged at 5:30 saying I was on the way and received no response until I called from your driveway. So I wasted a bunch of gas and over half an hour of time the kids could have been out in dry weather, resulting in me being sick and out in the rain. The biggest problem here, though, is the fact that instead of owning your error and correcting it, in turn showing that you value the friendship, you've chosen to double down by going no contact as you have in the past, proving the friendship is in fact one-sided. To top it off, you're sending me Netflix requests without telling me, so I don't even see them while they're active. I don't know what's going on with you, but having the kids around you the last couple of months has been stressful.
Dang.
You've yanked my daughter out of the car with the door closing on her and scared her to the point of tears.
Oh.
They both fuss if I say we're going to your house. My son outright said, I don't want to go there. She's so mean to us. And daughter said, yeah, she told me I had a fence in my mouth.
Whoa.
The actual statement made was that she had teeth so crooked it looked like a picket fence. Why would you say that to a child? Why would you freaking say that to a child?
It's definitely going to make them feel better as they grow up.
That in itself is absolutely appalling that someone at nearly 60 would bully a 5-year-old. Yeah.
At 60.
Really embarrassing.
Oh my gosh.
Like, why are you commenting on a 5-year-old's teeth? I value this friendship. I enjoy a lot of the time we spend together. These issues need to be worked on, or I'll have to choose my kids' safety and mental health. I need for you to choose to level up as a human instead of actively trying not to. Anne's response to me 5 days later, first off, Netflix issues are pretty standard. I figured you would know what I meant. It says your TV isn't part of the Netflix household for this account. Then it says update Netflix household, and it wants you to make sure this is your account. I just sent the text.
Oh boy.
She's really upset about that Netflix
She
account.
needs to watch
She's like,
her shows.
I need to watch my Netflix. I'm trying to watch Arcane.
I'm trying to watch Vampire Diaries and you're getting ahead of me. No, an arcade person wouldn't do this.
That's true. An arcane person would have some self-respect.
Yeah, this is Vampire Diaries written all over it.
Secondly, no, I will never call back someone who swears and hangs up on me. It's so disrespectful that I should not have to reach out to you first. I was looking for Christmas pictures the other day and found several of us from last year. My first thought was, all of those are happening again soon and we had fun doing it last year. Then I remembered your son had a snit fit at Grinch because of the marshmallows. And in picture day, you walked out on me in Walmart and left me paying for your prints. Everything just seems like a battle and wears me out some days, which is why I explode. But you would never have to explode if you join us live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST on YouTube. Just tap our profile.
Tippity tap tap. Wow.
And there is a little bit left, but
This person not getting it.
I know I need to change, but for me, not anyone else. And I need to figure it out as I go. My pills are almost done, so in a couple months, I'll see who I am without them and see where I want to go. But you also need to level up too. The tantrums and pouting and hanging up on me need to stop. I haven't felt 100% comfortable around you in a long time because I never know when you're going to get pissed off. This isn't fair to me. If you want to talk about where we go from here or want to sever ties, let me know. What do I do from here? Am I the a-hole for being upset in these situations and for the fact that there is never an apology or any accountability for her actions?
She just seems really toxic.
She seems so toxic. And your kids hate her.
Yeah.
Your kids hate her. She's toxic. She's not there for you. She creates drama. Just leave her.
Just be like, hey, I'm going to make your life easier.
Yeah.
I think we're going to head out.
Let's not be friends.
Yeah.
There we go. And now she doesn't have to worry about you and she can level up.
And you don't have to worry about her.
Man, oh man. But that is the end of that story.
My friends tried to destroy my girlfriend's image, so I chose her over them.
No one
Wow.
disrespects the image of my girlfriend.
I don't know.
What does that mean? Like
He's
like
flipping the code.
is he like drawing a mustache on a picture, or is it like the image in the newspapers and the tabloids?
I don't know. I think it might be a whole systematic destruction of her public image. But let's find out. I asked an admin if I can post this one up again. Thank you, admin, as many didn't get around to reading it, and my messages kept asking about the situation. So here you go. This is a tough one, and it's quite long. But I want to let all my feelings out, and I'm quite comfortable in this subreddit. This post may anger some, and some people may think I'm right or wrong, but that's okay. I'll really appreciate your honesty. I, 22, have been with my girlfriend, who's also 22, for 4 years now. And it's been the greatest 4 years of my life. So they got together at 18.
Wow.
Putting that out there. She's the sweetest person I've ever met. She's hilarious, insanely creative. She's an artist. Goofy, and just happens, and she's just the happiest girl you'll ever meet. She's always smiling and very outgoing, so she's energized, and I'll admit it's sometimes hard to catch up with all of her adventures, but wow, it's been so amazing being with her. By the way, this comes from user the throwaway buddy on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, what, did you have something to add over there?
This just seems cute. They're like 18 to 22.
I like my girlfriend. She's
girlfriend.
nice. Oh, I've been with her for 4 years, and she's really cool.
I said
and
that
she
about
smells
my
like
first girlfriend
sunshine.
too.
Yeah, me too.
I think
There's
we all.
nothing that could go wrong
I was
here.
gonna say. I think we all said this about our first girlfriend.
Man,
Okay.
to be wide-eyed and bushy-tailed about love again.
Where I'm not like deceitful about it. I'm like, yeah.
It's okay, Keon.
It's all
It's
right.
okay, Sam.
Well,
It's okay.
What's great, Dakota?
Well,
It's
wait,
okay,
shout
yeah.
out
It's okay,
Allie-
Dakota.
Allie George being like, we were 17 and 19, almost 9 years now.
Dang!
Wow.
Wowzers! All
I
right.
love
Be
love.
us.
So to get into the story, my friends introduced me to her the summer we all graduated high school, and we immediately bonded. Oh, so it's post high school. I would have assumed they met in high school. We're both into comics,
Yes.
anime, Marvel and DC, Dungeons and Dragons. We've had so much in common, we just became super close very quickly.
Sounds like you're dating me.
Yeah, two little nerds in their nerdy little pods.
We love nerd pods.
Yeah, we could all date this person.
Yeah, dude.
We're all
introduce
big dorks. Anyway, so these two nerds had everything in common.
so in love. I hate it.
Which, by the way, I love that. The fact that we had so much in common made it easy for us to spend time together, going to conventions, anime events, game tournaments, superhero films. This all, of course, led us to officially becoming a couple, and the rest is history. I love how it's written like someone that just found out what a relationship is.
And I guess
They're like,
and we're done.
So we just spent all this time together and started dating, and it's crazy.
And now we'll date forever and ever and ever.
Yeah. Okay. My parents also are in love with her, which is honestly the cherry on top. It's nice to see my parents be so welcoming towards my girlfriend, although they've gotten a little protective towards her, like parents. LOL.
What's wrong?
Yeah.
Tell me what's wrong.
There's got to be something wrong here. Right?
This is too perfect.
This is too perfect. Why
Where's
am
the
I
be-
reading this?
There will be besmirchment here.
I want besmirchment.
And the friends will besmirch the woman.
I'm smiling
He's
too much.
picking the woman. Honestly, and I think that he's going to be in the right for picking the side of the girl. That's
Okay.
what I think.
They're just jealous.
Yeah.
That's my conspiracy theory.
Let's
They're
see.
just too
Let's-
jealous.
What?
I plan to propose to my girlfriend
Ah.
later this year. Wow. We always joke about getting married and having a weird geeky little wedding and starting a family. And I really want that so much. So proposing to her is my main goal for 2022. Fingers crossed she says yes. I really hope so.
This is a little old.
yeah.
Maybe they're already
Maybe
together.
they're
Maybe
having
2
a
years
little
into this
kid.
marriage.
Yeah, maybe they have like
Ezekiel says, "This is Reddit. Damn it! Where's the drama?"
Here it
Also,
comes. It's coming.
shout out Ezekiel 23:19-20 for the latest Bible verse of all time. Did you guys know it? Did you guys remember what that
No,
is?
what is that?
Ezekiel.
We'll read it. We'll read it.
it
Yeah.
in the
we'll read
chat
it.
again.
we'll
so
read,
Dakota
we'll
can
read
know.
Ezekiel, we will read your verse soon.
It's fucking wild.
Damn it. Okay. Now, this is where my friends come in. Here comes the drama. I have 3 close friends of mine, friends that I grew up with since elementary school. We all split up a few months after high school. They left to another city for college, so right now we all just either talk through Zoom chat or I go and visit them once a while. I decided to stay in the city that I'm in to be close to my family and my girlfriend. Nerd. Well, no, that's very cute. I just had to say that because it's a
too
joke.
cute.
It was a joke, and I had to say it because my brain is spoiled.
I mean, we're all really nerdy here, so it's fine.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
not Sam's. Look at Sam.
What?
You're too handsome.
Dude, I just started watching Star Wars. I'll have you
Dude,
know.
the fact that you just said
And
I
I'm
just started
on
watching. I have a
episode
Star Wars
5.
tattoo.
I'm on episode 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, low key, great movies.
Yeah. Great.
Low key, this man
This man's slapping me in the face
Low
continuously.
key.
Dude,
I just started
I
watching Star Wars.
started
Really
from
pretty
episode
good.
1.
That's being like, yo, low key, water's wet.
I have 2 Star Wars tattoos actually. Come on.
Dude, I also like. This might be a controversial opinion, but I think episode
I'm
4
stopping you.
and 5 are better than 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, that's not
Yeah,
controversial
that's
at
not
all.
controversial. That's just
Yeah.
normal.
Wow, the fact that you're saying this with like, you're so
See,
you're
people
so
like
cute.
1, 2, and 3 because they're bad, except for 3. 3 is just
3 is dank.
yeah.
3 is great.
But we like it because it's bad. Anyway, this nerd is staying in his family to be close to staying in his city to be close to his family and his girlfriend. Well, I told my friends that I plan to propose to my girlfriend and that I believe I'm 100% ready to start a family with her and how excited I am to see how it goes. They kept asking if it was serious, even calling me a little dummy boy.
No, this is so bad. Oh, Hannah just tipped me $50. Thank you.
Thank you, Hannah.
We're gonna read that in a
Thank
little
you.
bit.
Get back to the story. Get back to the story.
Okay,
Dad.
okay. There's a lot in the story. I actually
Get in
need
the
to
story,
stay on
nerd.
it. I need to stay on it. I'm a story nerd now. Okay. They really were going at it with me quite roughly.
Oh. Stop. Good going.
I just figured they hated the idea of marriage.
Keep reading.
I just figured that they hated the idea of marriage, so I ignored their comments. And that's when they told me the truth. And holy crap, the proof they had made it even worse. They have proof. What kind of proof? They all said that they met my girlfriend 8 years ago at midnight bowling. They met her through a friend of theirs that invited her that night. I don't know this other friend at all, so I can't say who it is. That's how they all met. They thought she was hot and cool, and they stayed in contact with her. After that, my friends still continued to hang out with my girlfriend, smoking the devil's lettuce, playing video games, anime, and of course, a spicy sleep.
Oh, wait. They were hooking up with his girlfriend while they were dating? Or this is
They
before?
told me that they'll pass her around the group for fun. And that's practically why they were friends with her.
This sounds like teenage boy lying. I don't believe it.
They're just trying to be like, no, dude, don't marry your girlfriend. Oh, we've all done your girlfriend, dude. So you don't want to marry her and stay with the bros forever. They kept using the word sloot, which crawled into my skin in a very negative way. So pretty much, they just kept my girlfriend around for the spicy time. All three of my close friends have slept with her plenty of times.
Was this
apparently?
And this was before.
This is high school.
This is high school, and they met after high school. So
they met at 18.
This is
post high school,
and they're just telling this to him now after having dated for a while and saying, "Oh, I'm going to marry her."
I think so. I think
I don't believe it.
This is a news flash to him.
I don't believe it.
But so let's continue. This lasted a good portion of high school, but of course, I didn't know my girlfriend at this time because she attended another high school. They decided that they'll introduce her to me because they wanted to see if I could also get lucky. That it was all a joke to see if I could also end up having the spicy times with her. I didn't believe any of it, but my heart completely shattered when they showed proof from Instagram messages. It was nothing inappropriate like pics or anything. They just showed me that they all indeed kept in contact with her in the past.
Okay, that doesn't prove anything. That just shows that they were friends.
So there's no proof yet.
Yeah, that's just like that's like saying like, see, Dakota and I have been texting. Obviously, we've been boning behind the pod.
Although I think it might be true. It could be false, but it also could be true.
Don't tell them their secrets, Dakota.
But also, at the end of the day, does it even really matter? That's a different conversation. So you know what they did? They made me the dumb guy and made all of this a joke. They said that I am a little dumb boy for dating her and that I should have known better. They didn't expect me to date her at all and that my girlfriend was going to act slutty afterwards to them, but they were surprised that she didn't. How the heck am I supposed to have known better? Friends introducing friends to a boy/girl is a normal thing, and that's how I interpreted all of this. Also, I had no idea about their history with my girlfriend, so them saying I should have known better is ridiculous. Also, I think the most important thing out of everything that we've just read right now is that they were like, she's going to come back to us, and she didn't. Because she found you, and she likes
just shows loyalty.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it shows that your friends are stupid idiots.
Yeah.
I
do not like
knuckle-dragging
these friends at all.
That's why I said I think they're just jealous. I think they're just making up. Hopefully it's a lie. Where like they're. Yeah.
I feel like they're lying.
It doesn't sound like a lie to me, and it's like whatever. Like it really even shouldn't even be like somebody's history in that context is pretty much irrelevant. Like in if you're talking about like the present day,
Yeah.
like it really shouldn't matter. That's just my take.
And also, it was in high school.
Yeah, it's like who. Really? It's like, do we?
And are you really gonna?
And is that the only thing that you want receipts on? Don't you want receipts on how about every other aspect of her as a person?
Exactly.
Like,
I mean, like,
is that all we care about?
I think what matters is like, who is she in the relationship with you?
Exactly.
And it seems like it's perfect.
Yeah. And now your dumb boys are trying to be like, oh, joke's on you. We've all slept with your girlfriend. And it's like,
And also, they're gonna be like
what?
that. Maybe just like, don't be friends with them.
Yeah.
It sounds like they are going to maybe make you uncomfortable with being with your girlfriend. And it's like, they're the terrible people. Go be with the person that's actually been great to you for the last 4 years.
Exactly. You're already in a great situation.
Yeah.
Just cut all these people who are already not in your life that much. Just get rid of them.
Yeah.
So I didn't see my girlfriend as a sexual object like them.
Really quick. Is there should the girlfriend have told OP?
Did OP ask? That's the question
OP
right
never
there.
Asked. No, OP never asked.
I think if you don't ask, there's no reason to just bring it up.
I think
It's
I
when
would,
once you have the conversation.
If they're like in your friend
It's a
group,
back and
if
forth.
they're my friend, so like if I was dating a girl and there was a girl that
Wait. You mean the guy's telling him? Wait.
Well, so like if I was dating a girl and like there was a girl that I had hooked up with that was still in my friend circle, I would probably tell my girlfriend that, hey, like just so you know,
there's a history.
there's a history there.
Ooh, yeah.
I feel like that. I feel like that generally is like kind of like relationship. I think like that's you
I guess
usually
that's
give
normal,
relationship
but only if you had
context.
like an actual relationship with them, which
I don't think
doesn't sound like
I
that.
think not. I think even if you hooked up with them, I think it would be.
It just depends on the level
helpful
of
to
like.
know.
It should
You're in like an
it should be
actual
clear in the
relationship
air.
with
It'd be clear in the
somebody.
air, like, hey, yeah, like,
Yeah.
like.
Like for
This happened.
example,
It's like I don't want a list of every single person you've ever been with.
No,
like,
but
No,
it's in your
if they're
friend
around,
group. It's
so
your
like,
friend
so,
group.
yeah, so like I was dating this girl and she was like, hey, just so you know, like this guy that you met that's in my friend group, like we used to hook up. I'm like, oh, thanks for telling me. And like I feel like saying that early prevents any situation like this from surprising someone.
I guess that's fair.
I think it's helpful. I think it's helpful. If
Could be
you're
fair. She also might not be the proudest of that chapter of her life. So you know, I mean, it's.
but I think it's still like I think if we're thinking about like what is the
They're
best
also, like,
way
18.
to
I agree
navigate
with you, yeah.
relationships, like if you're upfront about the relationship history of people within your life,
Yeah.
you're just gonna have less surprises
Yeah.
and then higher chance of things going well.
No,
in
you're totally right on that for sure. That's 100%. So, I did not see my girlfriend as a sexual object like them. I saw her as a friend that I ended up falling in love with. She treated me very kindly, comforted me whenever I was sad, and told me how much she loved me. We fell for each other. It was not just a despace sleep. The only reason my friends told me this was because they think me getting married to her is too far. And so they expected me knowing the truth would lead to me dumping her. She's too much of a sleut, man. Just let her go. That's what one of my friends said. I just got off the chat, and they've been sending me nonstop texts ever since. I haven't replied. Good for you,
Good.
OP.
Yeah.
I don't feel like talking to my friends at the moment. I did peek at a few messages out of curiosity, and instead of apologies, I got a lot of, dude, get checked, bro. You might have caught something. And it wasn't even serious. It was in a jokey manner, which is annoying. I approached my girlfriend about this as politely as humanly possible, and I instantly regretted it. She broke down completely, which I'll kind of admit teared me up. I've never seen her panic so much. She was freaking out like somebody had died. She kept apologizing, telling me that she never slept with anyone else while with me, and saying that she didn't know about the joke that my friends were doing. She told me my friends simply invited her to hang out, and during the hangout, they introduced her to me. That's how it all went. She says she wasn't aware of a plan or anything. You probably think I'm a sleut, right? Is what she kept saying, which just hurt me to hear. She told me that she loved me and that to please just ignore my, quote, friends and to not break up with her. I just told her that I loved her as well and that what I know doesn't change my feelings towards her. Yes!
W response.
Yes!
Oh, I was hoping we would get to that.
Yes! I'm pumped up right now. Feel like I just won the championship. She still thinks that I'm going to break up with her. Which I won't ever do. Yes! I just kept her in my arms, and that's all I could do. I didn't want her panicking, so I just comforted her. I've been with this incredible girl for 4 years, created beautiful memories with her, and I'm not going to let what my friends have said to me ruin what I have with her. The reason why my girlfriend didn't tell me earlier was because she cherished our relationship the moment that we met. She didn't want to hurt me, and I completely understand. She says that I treated her kindly like a human being, and she appreciated that. We connected because of our similarities, and she felt more comfortable with me compared to my friends. She was afraid that if I knew the truth, I wouldn't have considered being with her in the first place, which that's
understandable, but I think often people hide behind the I didn't want to hurt you, so I'm not going to tell you information.
But
because like this is not what happened in this, but a lot of like we've read a lot of cheating stories, and it's like, hey, I didn't want to tell you that I cheated because I didn't want to hurt you. What that really means is like there's cognitive dissonance between what I've done and what I want to do, and so I don't want to tell you because maybe you're not like proud of an action. I think being upfront with information with a partner as soon as possible is like the best way to make healthy relationships.
Facts.
Although I do admit that that is a hard thing to say.
They were 18 when they started.
Exactly.
That's why
Yeah.
that there's no way she
Yeah.
could have ever said
you
that.
remember? I remember you stating like they're 18.
Yeah.
It's that young. It's like
You
there's
don't know
no
how to
way
navigate,
that you could
like-
possibly navigate
But
that
she-
with tact.
To
at
her
that
defense
age.
as well, is like she wasn't seen like when she met OP. She
Yeah.
wasn't seen like what all the other guys were calling her or what.
Yeah, those guys.
Yeah, she didn't know
suck.
that.
Those guys suck.
And then
suck.
as soon as they
So-
started dating, it was college happened. So those guys weren't even really
Yeah.
in the circle. It was like he stayed in that town with her and his mom, and then his friends were all off at university.
Yeah.
So it's not like they were even around all the time for her to be like, hey, by the way, just want to get this out there.
Right. Right.
Like we hooked up
Right.
or
So
whatever.
it's like what you're saying is like that rule of if you have a relationship history
Yeah.
with someone, you tell your partner. They weren't active in that.
Right, like they weren't
that life.
around. So it's
Until-
like you wouldn't
until
tell your
now.
partner like, hey, so here's the entire list
Yeah,
of
yeah.
everybody I've
And
ever
I
been
think-
with, like with no context.
I think
like,
it's like you only say it if it becomes relevant.
yeah.
And
as an adult too,
yeah.
it's like once you get into your 20s and you really like understand like being an adult,
Yeah.
like I think it's a lot easier too to like bring up information like this and not feel
Yeah.
like, oh no,
Weird
like,
about
what's
it.
gonna
Oh,
happen?
yeah.
Like, are they gonna think differently of me? It's like once you
you've
get a
been
certain
through
age,
enough
it's like, come on,
relationships, like
Yeah.
come on.
hello.
We're adults here.
But let's
Um,
continue.
And also, right now, I'm looking at 33 votes that say you should give context.
Yeah.
So saying she should give context, but also I think we give grace for someone who's 18.
Right.
That, doesn't
As a
know.
fully formed adult,
Yes.
I completely agree with this poll.
Yeah.
Anyways, my girlfriend thought that I was going to think of her as a sleut, which I absolutely would have never done. It was obvious that she felt guilty, but I told her that she didn't do anything wrong, that her past was her business, and that I still love her very much.
W.
I'm not mad at my girlfriend. Why should I be mad? She didn't do anything wrong. Her past is hers, and it's none of my business. Who she sleeps with is none of my concern. My feelings towards her haven't changed. I love her with all my heart, and I always will. I'm mad at my so-called friends because one being they're taking all of this as a joke, speaking of my girlfriend awfully, and the other being is that they all started, this all started as a little joke between them. And they didn't have good intentions when they introduced me to my girlfriend. They simply passed her to me, quote, thinking I was going to treat her like a piece of meat. Yeah, these are great friends that you shouldn't
They
have.
suck.
I'm just shocked. That's what I am. This whole thing has been mentally stressing me out, and I wish I didn't know about it. I love my girlfriend, but I'll admit the thought of her with my friends hurts me. Which is why she probably wouldn't want to say that when she was 18.
But I think it's also like not the thought of her with your friends. I think it's the friends like creating this image of
Yeah.
your girlfriend.
They spun
It's like-
this narrative in your head. now.
Yeah, like they are the problem, and I think
Yeah.
if you remove them, then they won't be like creating this image of your girlfriend that you
And
don't like.
They didn't have that. Yeah, like because these friends weren't so into their lives until now. Where he's like, I might propose to her, guys.
Yeah.
They're like, whoa,
He's like, what?
the joke's gone way too far.
Yeah, it's like
what?
they didn't tell him about the joke for 4 years. These people suck.
yeah, dude, these guys aren't your friends.
Yeah, I don't think you're really the friend, dude. I think you're the outskirt friend there. I've cut all contact with my friends these past couple of days, and I've been ignoring their calls and texts. There are a ton of them. I just don't know what to do. I really don't. I mean, it sounds like you've done exactly what you needed to do already.
Yeah. Jan Marie calling says OP is such a green flag guy, though.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah.
Green,
Yeah.
super green.
And also, he's super young, too. I mean, like 22,
22.
to be having this
now
many-
I guess, what, 24?
24? Okay, I guess that you should have learned these green flags by now. But-
No, I mean now, like in today, in the
in
story.
today-
In the story,
yeah,
he's 22.
Yeah, that's like just out of college. I feel like he's
Yeah.
doing good.
So, although also the thought of my girlfriend immediately having the spicy sleep with my friends kind of bugs me because me and her took it slow. Maybe she did care about me compared to my friends and didn't want to hop straight into the spicy sleep. I would assume that that's what that is.
That's true. Yeah.
I also think this because even my friend said that she didn't act slutty towards me. She actually cared about me. You see, these are the stupid thoughts I'm getting in my head, and I hate it. I'm personally still going to propose to my girlfriend. I am not leaving her, and I plan to cut contact with my friends and simply focus on my future. If any
Nice.
of you have any advice to share, I'd greatly appreciate it, and I definitely need to relax my mind, that's for sure. Oh my God, there's an update. All right, let's roll straight into it.
I mean, really quick, I think he should do exactly what he's been doing.
He's doing everything right.
Doing it 100% right.
Everything is
also,
correct.
if you want to join our Discord, it's discord.gg/okstorytime.
Update and info number 1, which means there might be more than one update here.
Ooh.
Hey, everyone. Hope you're all doing really great. I'll be posting more updates here, so I hope you all stick around. I wanted to say, wow. It's been absolutely interesting to see how different all of your opinions are on this situation. I want to thank all of you. Many of your comments really helped me greatly, and I appreciate so much. You're all insanely amazing people. If I could invite you all to the wedding, I absolutely would. It'd be amazing to have you all there. My girlfriend and I are doing well. She's still quite upset about what the friends did, but that's perfectly understandable. I've been comforting her, letting her know I'm not going anywhere, and that I won't be breaking up with her at all. I love her with all my heart, and I've been letting her know that constantly during all of this.
Let's go.
I want her to feel the
Let's go,
love and
Pete.
appreciation because her past being brought up suddenly definitely gave her a shock. I want her to feel loved, and that's exactly what I'm doing. My friends are still trying to contact me, but they've also tried contacting my girlfriend. She has no plans to speak to them, which she definitely shouldn't because those guys don't deserve to speak to your girlfriend, even though that she's actually cut contact with them when they left to college. I hadn't opened my messages, and she hasn't opened hers. There's something I do want to quickly talk about, though. I saw a few comments that said my girlfriend may have slept with my friends while being with me, which I don't think that's the case.
Well,
I think it's very clear that she didn't do
your
that.
girlfriend and your friend said that wasn't true.
Yeah, so don't listen to those comments. I want to start by saying my girlfriend actually removed all of them from her social media when they left for college, and her reason for removing them was because she didn't see them as friends anymore. I didn't push her for more explanations, I just left it at that. Every time I went to visit my friends in the other city, she'll never go with me. She never wanted to. She simply didn't want to hang out with them. She'll always stay with her mother for the weekend when I'll leave to go visit. Again, I never pushed for explanations. She simply told me that she didn't want to hang out with them and that they all drifted apart since high school. I understood that, as we all tend to drift apart from friends that we had in high school.
Guy is most understanding boyfriend ever.
That was super understanding.
I love that.
And I think it's probably, if I can put a little theory out there, it's probably just like, sometimes we have chapters and periods of our lives that we don't like and we want to forget and we want to just put behind us. And I think those people are clearly a fixed point in her life that she has moved past and wants nothing to do with anymore. So she's just not, she cut those people off. She's moved on. She met you, has a very
OP
real, loving,
really never
involved
asked.
relationship.
He never asked. So it's like, it's not like she was like explicitly hiding anything.
And the best part about this is usually when you read these stories, they're like blinded by love. No, this is like, yes, he's in love with with his girlfriend or fiance or not, or going to be soon fiance.
Yeah.
And it's not like he's blinded by it. He's like, no, this is the realization. They suck. Her past is her past. That's it.
Indeed.
Yeah, I
I'm
feel
mature.
like these are all really healthy realizations.
This is all very healthy. It's not like, tunnel vision on her. Like, no, she's the one and that's it. It's like, no, I love her for who she is. She loves me.
Yeah, because I feel like in
First love,
stories
true
we've
love.
read, dude,
First
shout
love, true
out
love.
this guy.
True love.
Shout out this guy.
All right.
Was your first love your true love?
Huh?
Was your first love your true love?
Oh, probably.
Oh.
Did you?
I could be your true love. Anyway, of course, now we all know the truth why she did not want to be near them. Also, for the people that are telling me why she didn't tell me the truth, you really think it could be that easy for her? That's what I was saying. I can understand completely why she didn't tell me, and I 100% understand. She didn't tell me because she was worried that I would immediately judge her and that I'll immediately see her as a sleut. She wanted me to get to know the real her, and I absolutely understand that. She didn't want to just have the spicy sleep with me. She wanted something real, and that's why she didn't tell. I see comments asking why I was even friends with those guys, and it's actually an interesting little story. My parents are friends with all their parents. Bro, that's not interesting. That's basically how every friendship starts when you're 5 years old. It's actually your parents who are friends.
Keep reading.
Okay, sorry. They all went to school together as well when they were younger, and in fact, the same high school that we went to, all of our parents went to the same school. The only reason I became friends with those guys was because all of our parents still kept in contact, so they brought us together. Not funny. That's how we met. We met very little at barbecues and parties and stayed close friends for all of these years. Okay, update number 2.
Hopefully this one's interesting and
We're
funny.
gonna roll into this update.
Hit it. do it. Go.
Hey there! Hope you're all doing great. Tomorrow, my girlfriend and I will be speaking to my parents, and there's some things we need to let them know. As I said on my previous update, my parents are friends with my ex-friend's parents, so we plan to tell my parents the situation before my friends try to twist the story in any way. I have 100% cut contact with my, quote, friends. I don't need them in my life. Eventually, my parents will ask why I haven't met with them, so it's best to be straightforward. My girlfriend is absolutely comfortable with speaking to my parents, especially since they treat her like family. Hopefully, everything goes well. I'll be posting more updates soon. It's almost night here, so I won't be posting it until tomorrow. Hopefully, you stick around, as many of you want updates, and I don't want to leave all of you hanging. Blah, blah, blah. Here's the third update. I'll be posting an update. I'll be posting update 3 very soon. You just posted it, brother. I'm sorry I couldn't post it yesterday. I got a little busy. So much has happened since the last time I updated. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, here's the real update. Sorry for the wait. This weekend got a little busy. So I'll be using fake names from here on out so I don't have to constantly say my girlfriend and I. And here's the rest of the update. Okay, Sarah and I. We got another Sarah. Sarah and I decided to speak to my parents about everything that has happened. I saw a few comments saying it isn't a good idea to tell my parents, but we believed it was the right thing to do. We're both worried my ex-friends would try to change up the story, so we decided to approach my parents about it. Like I said on my post, my parents treat my girlfriend like family, especially my dad, who's very protective of her. Wow! It went pretty well. Telling them went way better than we expected. We both were super nervous to even bring it up, but my parents were very supportive and listened to what we had to say. Sarah didn't go into much personal detail, and she said that she had a history with my ex-friends that she wasn't proud of. My parents aren't dumb. They definitely understood what she meant, but didn't pressure her to say anything that she didn't want to. And by the way, I'm going to pressure all of you right now to always join us live on YouTube every weekday at 3 p.m. PST. Just tap our profile.
Tap it.
We told them that we were worried about my ex-friends saying anything first and possibly changing up the story to make Sarah look bad. It's the 4th time that you've said that. Sorry. My parents really appreciated that we spoke to them about this because they knew something like this would be tough to talk about. My dad, of course, was in protective mode, asking Sarah if she was hurt physically, and she insisted to him that she was okay. My dad works with one of the dads of my ex-friends, so I told him not to bring anything up right now. I did tell him to be on the lookout if any of my ex-friends' dads ended up mentioning anything. That'll show us my friends actually did bring it up already. My dad said that he'll definitely be looking out if he hears anything, and he's very supportive about all of this. Eventually, we want my friends' parents to know about the situation if things get messy, but we're all a little worried on how they'll react. I agree. Stop telling them all this story. Just move on.
I don't think you even needed to tell your parents. Like,
I mean, maybe tell the parents if they're gonna hear because you don't want the parents to now think weirdly about your wife,
sure,
or your fiance.
No, it's just we don't need to talk about it anymore.
Because who knows what these absolute knuckle-dragging troglodytes are going to say
they're
about
not part of your life.
this
They don't
girl.
need to be.
they're not part of your life.
They're not, but they will be if the drama makes its way into your parents' heads. That would your parents are the only ones I think need to know.
Sure,
all the other people don't. You don't need to worry about them.
Maybe, but I
Just
definitely
your
agree that you don't need to get this story. I mean, it's almost like you're putting out
we need to set the record
Reddit straight story.
It's no, you don't.
To the whole world.
Yeah, it's almost like you've updated 4 times.
Dude,
thank you for this story, by the way.
your real names in there, and then just send it to all of your parents.
Yeah, you should.
friends.
Yeah, with social security numbers.
Yeah.
So overall, all of this went very great, and it made me, and especially Sarah, very comfortable and more relaxed. And that's the end of the story. No marriage.
What?
No marriage confirmation, no nothing. That's the end of the story.
Should I look it up?
Yeah, let's look it up.
Yeah, find out.
Yeah, go to their. Wait, was this the throwaway account though?
It might have been, yeah.
I think it was a throwaway
I don't
account.
think we're going to find out. But
Dang!
from the sound of it, I would bet you that they did get married for
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, they sounded super happy.
And they, it makes sense that they're trying to maybe do a little too much because of everything that happened with the high school friends and how far back that friendship goes. But it's dude, these people tried to they tried to play a joke on you, and then it turned into a joke on them in that you ended up in a beautiful, loving relationship.
They're
now
the
they're
worst friends in existence. They deserve to be cut off entirely. No contact for sure.
Black hole for these people.
Black hole?
Well, no.
Spaghetti?
You know what? No. It takes a special kind of demon to deserve getting thrown into the black hole. So I think Oort Cloud for these guys. Oort Cloud for these
Oort
friends.
Cloud kind of sounds like a little peaceful.
See, now you'd think that, but that's the devious little twist on the Oort Cloud, is that it starts peaceful and then it turns into unending like mental anguish and agony over what they have done.
Because, but are you getting, you're not getting hit by debris that
the
much.
Oort Cloud is worse than the sun. That's what I would say.
Well, because the sun, you're like burning up.
You get to burn up and
yeah.
like you're toast.
Yeah.
Oort Cloud is you float forever and you deal with the
But why don't
the
you
weight
just
and the burden of
put
what
them in
you've
the
done.
Oort Cloud? Why not just put them in like the depths of space?
Well, that's you got to go through the Oort Cloud to get there.
Yeah, but that's like it's like a passage through. Like just put them in the depths of space because the
So
Oort
I mean,
Cloud.
Oort Cloud is just a more fun way to say
Listen,
deep space.
your clouds there.
Because
so
I like the word Oort.
I found the account.
Oort.
He literally said, "I'll post an update," and it's been 2 years. And there's comments. They're like, "Are you okay, buddy? Where's the update?"
You know what he
No
probably
update.
decided? He was probably like, I don't need to get on Reddit ever again.
My friend ditched me after I went out of my way for her, so I told her our friendship is over.
If you ditch, you end up in a ditch.
I, 31 female, used to have a friend who I will call Stacy. 29 female. Stacy and I were a bit different from each other. She has lots of friends and loved to go out and get a drink or dance at the clubs. She loved makeup and fashion and was an extrovert. I was more of an introvert who would mostly stay by her at her parties because I didn't know anyone else there. I don't drink, don't know anything about fashion or makeup, but we had a few shared interests in media that we bonded over. By the way, this comes from Beads and Moon Pies on the OK Storytime subreddit. So I loved hanging out with Stacy and we were friends for a few years. I was even a bridesmaid at her wedding when she got married to her husband, Lester, not real name. I like to think she helped me come out of my shell, and she certainly helped me with what I wear and how I do my makeup. To try to keep things short, things started taking a turn about a year ago. We went on vacation with some of Stacy's friends, and she told me that she was going to try to hook up with another girl. I asked her if her husband knew, and she asked me to keep it a secret? No. I'm sorry. No. Opie says, I agreed, but only because it wasn't my place or my business to tell her husband what she was doing. If I were in this position and a friend asked me to do this, I would say, you cannot ask me to do that. If they ask me, I will have to tell the truth. I will not be part of this lie. Not long afterward, she told me she told her husband and everything was okay between them. I didn't know many details and I didn't ask. Again, not my business. Things were normal after that and it was just never mentioned again. It may not be your business specifically with their relationship, but why do you want to be friends with the person who does this? Fast forward a few months and Stacy has another party. I couldn't go because I had to work that night and couldn't take off, but I did stop by to drop off some snacks and games I had bought for people. Everything seemed normal with her then, but then I received a call not long afterwards. It was Stacy's husband asking me if I knew where she was. They had apparently gotten into a fight and she had left. Worse, her husband told me that she had attacked him the morning of their party and injured him pretty badly. I was shocked. Stacy had never shown any signs of violence before. Her husband told me that he suspected she had mental health issues that needed medication and also told me to be careful around her since she was not acting like herself. I tried to get in touch with her, but I didn't receive anything until over a week later, and she only told me that she was okay. Over the next few months, Stacy would end up getting arrested, Baker acted, wreck her car, and told me she punctured a guy's tire after he'd said some awful things to her. So she's going through something. She posted accusations against her husband on Facebook and told people that he'd been abusing her. At this point, I was keeping my distance, and the only time Stacy contacted me were to ask me for a place to stay or other things that she needed, or trash talk her husband and say how she was going to get her revenge against him. That's scary. Finally, after some more time, she revealed to me that she and her husband had made up and she wanted to talk to me. I honestly don't know if I would ever talk to this person again. The next time I saw her, she told me that the whole thing had been one giant breakdown caused by her untreated mental disorder, bipolar. She was now in a state of depression since she had gotten fired from her very good job and her friends were no longer talking to her. I listened to her carefully as she stated that nothing brought her joy anymore. Not the shows we used to watch, not makeup, not fashion, not even going out. She said she had no job and no money, so no more shopping or going out. If we hung out, it would have to be something that didn't cost money. I was okay with that. I usually paid for her lunches or bought her things before. She asked me to give her another chance. I agreed, but only so long as she was taking her medication and getting the help she was needed. She said she was, and she would. I don't personally know how I would react in this situation, but I think it is fair for OP to restart the friendship as long as all of these, things are being met. Not long after that, something happened that seemed to be the straw that broke my back. I had asked her to go see a movie with me. I bought her a ticket and I told her we would go get lunch after, and that would be my treat as well. She agreed, and I told her when I would be by to pick her up since she no longer had a car. While I was on my way to get her, she texted me to say that she and her husband had gone down the street to get something to eat, and I didn't have to worry about being on time because she was not at her house. I thought that was a bit odd, but I shrugged it off. I stopped at a gas station to refuel and even picked up some snacks for us to share. I then drove to her home and she wasn't there, so I waited and waited and waited. The calls and texts I sent her went unanswered. Time passed enough that we would be late for the movie even if we'd left as soon as she got home. I didn't know if she would even be ready to go when she got back. Immediately, my mind began to rearrange the schedule. We could get lunch first and then catch a later showing of the movie. But as I thought this, a voice in my head asked me why. Why was I rearranging this? I had told her when I would be there. I had told her when the movie was. All she had to do was wait for me to pick her up. And why wasn't she answering? She always had her phone in her hand, so why wasn't she picking up? I had already had a bad day at work the previous day, and all I wanted to do was spend some time with my friend and catch a movie. I started feeling angry at her, and I decided to just leave. Why wait for her? When I got home, she called me. I didn't answer it. She texted me an apology saying she would take me out to lunch to make up for it. I ignored that too. I was angry and didn't want to lash out at her. The next day, I texted her back. I asked her why she didn't answer me when I tried to call her before the movie. She told me she didn't hear her phone ring in the diner they'd gone to. I asked her why she'd even left when she knew I was coming to get her. She said she just wanted to get something to eat and time had gotten away from her. That is not a good enough excuse. But time will never get away from you if you join us live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST on YouTube. Just tap her profile. Yeah, I don't think you owe this person anything. I think that she's mistreated you and you already gave her a second chance. So there's just not much point, I think, in continuing this relationship that is hurting you. At that point, I was angry again. She continued to give me excuses and apologies, but I was done. After everything that had happened, I felt like I didn't matter to her. I had always put her feelings first before because I'm a huge people pleaser, but she couldn't consider me just once. Was this how things were going to go if I kept hanging out with her? I told her I was done and our friendship was over. She told me she didn't want to lose our friendship because of one missed movie, but I didn't respond. My family thinks I did the right thing, but I can't help but feel guilty. Am I the a-hole? No, you are not the a-hole. You gave her another chance, as I said. You tried multiple times to have a friendship with her and be there for her. Right now, at least, she can't be there for you. And it is not your responsibility to just keep hurting yourself to help her. But that is the end of that story. If you love us, make sure to subscribe. We love you and see you tomorrow.